A pleasant good evening to everybody. This is a Marcia Weeks show, and we are coming to you live from Barbados. I'm Marcia Weeks, and this is my co-host Heather Cole. And Heather is where are you, Heather?
Hi everyone, I'm in New York. I hope you're having a good day.
Yes, and Heather, you can hear by the accent. Heather, Heather, you're Jamaican or what? What are you, Heather? You're Jamaican like me?
Bajan, Bajan.
Listen, listen. The people said that they soon send me out of Barbados. They said they soon throw me out.
It's not gonna happen.
Not going to
Positive energy.
happen.
Positive energy.
Positive energy. And right as you are joining us, you please follow what you see on the screen. It says, "Good evening, everyone. Like and share." And this was even put here by me. This is somebody wrote it. One of our viewers. Like and share and get this high up in the algorithm and get the message out to more folks. Tonight class, it's going to be amazing. And here I said it is a class. I got my book here, and Caswell says to write out my book. But I got my book. I have my pen, and I'm learning. And I see the teacher. I see the general right there. You have your pen too. You got a we got our pen and books tonight. Are we ready to go? We're ready to go. And right away, guys. I want you to like and share. Let people know that we are on tonight. We are ready to go tonight. We feel like Samson tonight. We feel like Samson tonight. We feel the strength of God, not by might or by power, but by the Spirit of God. We're not doing this in our own strength, but it is simply by the Spirit of God. And I'm seeing the general on. Good night,
Good night.
Caswell.
Hi, Michelle.
So
Yeah. Listen, I mentioned your name to her, and this woman gone gushing. Let me. I wonder if your wife know
The,
how this woman gushes about you.
the feeling here is mutual. Trust me.
wow.
Well,
Yeah.
well, tonight, Caswell, Michelle has joined us because she is involved in another fight. It's no fights, right? So Michelle is involved in another fight, the challenging the gender confusion in Barbados, and there's something major that is coming up. But before we even go into this tonight, Heather, I told um, I told Michelle, I said, Michelle, can you come on the show tonight and talk about this? And I told her that Caswell comes on every night. And she gave me the story. Michelle, can you tell Heather and all of us the story you told me about Caswell? Tell out Caswell business.
Um, can I tell out your business, Caswell?
Yes.
Okay.
You say yes.
So we met in a little house in Arthur's Seat long years ago when we were ministering to a old lady there, and she was a widow of a veteran, and she was left all alone by her family. And one day I went to give her some food, and I saw some other food there. And another day I went, and then there was this gentleman that was delivering the food, and I met Caswell. Well, long story short, our paths crossed. We talked a lot about things and about her, and we helped her through to the very end of her life. And Caswell literally went to the hospital, and we all went there and saw her, and she passed. And Caswell took care of all the funeral expenses and things that she had left him in control. The family turned up at the funeral and behaved disgusting, and I'll leave the rest of that story out. The next story of Caswell is back in 2020 in COVID, and a group of us had an outreach to do in Bridgetown, and we had no permission to be outside of our curtilages. And at that time, we were not supposed to leave our curtilage. unless you had permission, and you had to request permission, and we did so by all the right means and got no responses. And we prayed to the God the Father, and he said, you are to go. So we called the backup forces, the General Caswell and another police friend of ours, and we said, will you ride with us? And they said, yes, we will. And we met in Baxter's Road, and we said, okay, so if the police stop us, you will speak on our behalf. You will let them know that they're not to lock us up. Anyhow, so they turned up, Castle came, and we all went down into all the back streets, and we talked and prayed for the people and gave them soup, and all kinds of things went on, and Castle was blown away, and we were blown away by the fact that we didn't even see one single police car. And we all got to do what we needed to do and get back home safely. But the thing was that touched us that Caswell would have stood up and come with us, and that was incredible, Caswell.
Yeah.
And you I think were very touched by the whole outreach, which we continue to do. Long after COVID, we're still doing it. We're now dancing in the streets and praying for them and getting jobs, and they praying for us and telling us thanks very much for leaving our heights, leaving our where we live in the heights and coming down to Bridgetown to spend time in Bridgetown with our friends. They're now our friends.
Wow. Listen, Caswell, when she told me that story, how she called on you to go into town with her during COVID, I said, just like a general, and he was right there with them. And that is,
Yes.
Guys, Heather, you see the people we surround ourselves with. Look at Michelle taking on, the work
Anything.
of the poor,
Yes.
helping the poor, and Caswell is the same thing. And this is why I tell you, folks, this is what you listen about Mr. Franklin.
No, but
Because when
I'll tell you about
yes,
Michelle.
tell
We
me.
the lady was she couldn't really do much for herself, so we would feed her at breakfast and take them for mornings and lunch and stuff. Michelle used to come and bathe her.
Yeah.
One day she messed herself, and Michelle came without gloves, without anything, and Michelle took the undergarments under the pipe and she washed it out, and then she used the soap and she washed it with her hands. They said no good deed goes unpunished. As soon as Michelle finished, her cell phone dropped in the water.
Oh.
Remember that, Michelle?
Yes. I also remember the day that the fridge door didn't close and everything in the fridge was rotten and walking out with all the stuff. And we were, what to do? I called a friend that lived not too far, and I said, you got garbage bags, you got some time to come and help. And we had to go down in there and clean up that whole fridge. Do you remember I told you that I used to jump through the window, lock her in and jump through the window?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just hoping the police never caught her. But she was a really sweet old lady.
She was lovely.
I still have her picture here in my house. I put it up.
I have the sheep from her funeral.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then we discovered that she had family after she died.
Yeah. Did you see that the house has been bulldozed and the land is all unkempt, and I believe it's still a court case, I believe so.
It shouldn't be, because after she said that she will give everything to me, and she did actually make a will, but I didn't want it.
Yeah.
So the lady that she left it, she changed the will to this particular day. I said no, change it back, because I wasn't doing this for anything. So I destroyed my will and said, well, the old will is what will suffice.
Yeah.
So because I really didn't want anything.
We didn't want anything. No.
I didn't do it because the land is just above Millennium Heights, so I would have a good piece of land.
It would be valuable land.
It wasn't what I went out there to do. I went to help her. But
Mm-hmm.
how I got to know her, like I was working for the Attorney General, and she called one day and said her water was turned off. And so he told me, well, Cal, go and see what you can do. So I went, and it turned out that the water authority turned her water off at $85. She was 85 years old.
Disgusting.
And she got out the house on her own without a walker. and somebody assisting her, and they turned off her water for $85. He told me, go to the water authority and pay. And he said, Kaz, you don't make the noise. Just go and pay the money. He gave me, go and pay. I go on, I said to them, okay, we want the water turn back on, and they tell me tomorrow. I lost it. I said, man, you can keep it all $85 in the house for 2 days without water? Nah, I can't. So they got tired of me berating and carrying on, and they better turn the water at the same time. But I promised it, Attorney General. I said, no, I ain't gonna do no, I ain't
Not
gonna
gonna keep any noise.
But I had to break that promise. But she was a really sweet old lady,
She was.
Wow.
My God, faring lady.
Like,
I got
Heather,
into it
Heather, you
because
hear
I was given the list of all the old veterans, widows and widowers, and that list was handed to me and said, can you go visit? Can you go visit? It was another lady behind Glenderry, and Miss Marshall, and she was blind, and those family of hers, that was another nightmare too. They treat her disgusting, and many a time I would go there and hear her crying out, and she'd be stuck in the bath and falling down somewhere and calling on the Lord and saying, send an angel, Lord Jesus, send an angel. And then one day I pulled up and she said, oh God, thank you, Lord, you sent an angel. I had to call my husband and say, I'm going to be a little longer today on this run because I got to get this lady out of this mess, and I got to get her bathed and dressed and everything. So you got to wait a little longer than for me to come home today.
Wow. Yeah. Heather, you're hearing these stories? You're hearing these stories, Heather?
Michelle, do you belong to an organization?
Jesus Love Like Jesus is our little church in St. John, and I belong to a church called the Living Room Church, and I belong to Marcia and anyone else that is doing the Lord's work.
I never heard about the Living Room Church yet.
It's 25 years old. 25 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, this year.
Caswell, I love to hear these stories because for the people who call and they're trying to say, oh, Caswell, just Caswell love the limelight, Caswell, whatever, all these things, Michelle is going to bring food and she's recognizing somebody's leaving food for this little old lady, that there's no camera, there's nothing, and Caswell is bringing the food, Michelle is bringing the food, I tell you this, Caswell, Michelle is the real deal. I know a lot of
you don't have to tell me at all.
Do you know? Caswell, is your wife listening?
Yes.
Okay, so he told my husband that if my husband dies, he's going to marry me. So his wife would have to get moved over and let me
All the secrets coming out now.
The steroid is at lunch. The antibiotic is breakfast and dinner.
Secrets are coming out.
Go ahead, Caswell.
If there were ever angels on earth, she's one.
A lot of people, they see Michelle and I moving around and they say, where you going with that white woman, and try to, they come to whisper the same thing they do with you, and so on. But I tell you, man, we have some good people, and this woman here, Michelle Edwards, is the real deal. Those people that Caswell said she was bathing all these people, these are black people she's bathing and cleaning up their mess. How many of us are going to go and do that? How many of us going to do that? Caswell, they're going
climb through their window to get it done. Because she climbed through the window.
That was the only way I could lock her back in. She only had the one key, and I think Caswell, did she give you a key?
Yes. She gave me
and you eventually cut me one key and said, stop jumping out through the window. Because that was the only way I could lock her back in and safely leave her there when I left, And then she had this cat, and I had to feed the cat. And, oh, man, it was a lot of different things. You had to be there a good little time. That was in the days where we would go around to about 8 of them, and it was a whole Saturday you were spending out in this. But you know what? I love, love these things. I love doing it. I'm happiest when I'm helping, and that was what I was born for. My mother told me all the time I was vocation, nurse, nurse. I was a nurse, and she was a nurse, and she marched me off to London and enrolled me to do nursing. And through a whole spate of events, I did not end up practicing as a nurse, but I practiced my nursing every day, because nursing is not what it is today. It is not nurse practitioner, you're merely a doctor. Nurse is just giving love and care
Mm-hmm.
and all
Mm-hmm.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
It is not,
Yeah.
it is not it being a doctor. It is about loving and caring people in their sickness and in their last days, and bringing comfort to them. And it doesn't matter who they are, from what walk they are. We all need a loving, tender, caring touch. We need to know that somebody out there cares for us, and that's what Caswell was doing for her, and that's what I try to emulate and do.
Yeah. Is that Michelle? Let me turn off her mic. So Peter is saying fantastic story. We show that there are those who still care about the disadvantaged. Thanks to Michelle, Edwards, and Caswell for assisting the poor and needy. And I tell you, this is one of the reasons why, you see, this is what Caswell is about. With this, we're going to go back and talk about the pensions. This is the poor and needy. It's the same thing that he's doing, folks. So don't listen to them. Don't listen to those who are calling him a complainer. Don't listen to those who are saying that he's in it for himself. This is what he does. And the only reason these stories came out is because Michelle is on tonight to talk about another issue that her and I were very, very much involved in fighting, and it is the gender confusion, challenging gender confusion. And there's something that is coming up this weekend, before we jump into some of the other things that we're going to talk about this evening, because I'm sure some of you saw that the newspaper said that they're going to be giving people an ease with their land tax, and they gave us $100. And I heard Mr. Ellis asking, so does that mean that the marchers should stop because they're giving us all these different things at this time, right? So we're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk about tourism, right, Heather? That is big on Heather's agenda. Heather, you want to tell us a little bit about that while Michelle gets herself ready?
Yes. Actually, it's a story. It's about climate change and tourism, which would impact Barbados generally. A few months ago, I read an article on CNN, and someone spoke about the impact of climate change on tourism. And he mentioned several things. One of them
So
was
you're gonna, don't tell us all of it now. Don't tell us all of it now, because we want to keep them on the edge of the seat, and we want them to share and let people know that we're going to be delving into that. We're going to look at, we're going to look at some of the. I think it's a geriatric hospital. Did I get that right? That they're going to remove those people, and yes, they're going to put them at the old I ward. They're going to put those people at
that Mr. Kinch had or is in the process of renovating. And we're also going to look at the Barbados Defense Force buildings.
Yes. And I think, Heather, there's another hospital, and Caswell can correct me on this, that will be moved. The patients are going to be moved from that. It's an old age home, elder home for the elderly, I believe, Caswell.
The geriatric hospital. There are
Okay, so I was correct.
Hospital in the botanical gardens, and they're going to then make a conference center, a convention center is scheduled to go on that spot. It's too good for the old people, because those buildings in there just need some refurbishing. and you refurbish one block at a time and come forward,
Mm-hmm.
but not push down the whole thing. Just wasting
Mm-hmm.
money, and they're gonna build a new hospital
To there.
and
Well,
put
we're
it in the
gonna go
botanical
into it.
gardens.
Right, we're gonna go into that a bit more because I think that's part of them trying to, change the look of things. So we're gonna go into that a bit more. But let me just put Michelle back into the studio. And Michelle, can you tell us a bit about what is happening this weekend in Barbados? Something major is going on. Can you tell us? Okay, let me
Okay.
yes, go ahead.
Hmm. Right. It is very exciting. We are having, like that title says, challenging the gender confusion in Barbados. So we have invited a gentleman by the name of Victor Novici. He's a Romanian, and he is the co-director of the X Out Loud um, it's in trust, and they are with Core Issues Trust. And what they do is they campaign for the freedom to access pastoral care, counseling, and therapeutic choice. That is all now under threat. If somebody comes to you and says that a young child or a young adult says that they're having difficulties with their gender and they don't know who they are, it is becoming now almost illegal for them to seek any help. We're supposed to just send them off to the clinics and have them chopped up and make the changes that they say that they think that they should be. But Core Issues
Mm-hmm.
Trust is challenging that, and they are working on the premise of the biblical principles, which is that there are only two genders, and this is the male and the female, and that God made us that way. So they are going on what the Bible says, and they are saying that these young people have the freedom, the right to choose if they want pastoral care, counseling, and therapeutic choices. And they can go to Core Issue Trust and receive free help in this area. So we're bringing the co-director, Victor Novici, here to share with us and tell us more about how he transitioned, because he was born a man, and he's through the various things that happened in his life. He began to identify and have a homosexual relationship. He was seen to be attracted to his same sex, and he explains why that happened, and he goes into um, he believed all the lies he was told, and the people in his life at the time, his parents maybe, the ones that should have affirmed him and given him confidence to become who he was supposed to be, didn't, and he went that road. And after many years of torment, he met someone who told him about Jesus and received the counsel and care from these ones. And he has been healed. And he tells why he has been healed and how he has been healed. And it's an incredible story. And we believe he's going to help many of our young people who are, on the brink of suicide because they just don't know what to do with themselves. Because we've had suicides here already with situations with young people whose same sex partners had left them, and now they want to kill themselves because they don't want to live because they can't think of life without this partner. It's just all lies from the pit of hell. So he's coming, and we're having a brunch on the Thursday at 11 o'clock at All Seasons Resort in Sunset Crest. And we're inviting pastors and leaders and lawyers and teachers and pretty much anyone who has a heart and wants to help our young people. They are our future. The young people are our future. We don't have a future in Barbados without young people. They are the workforce. They are our legacy. And so we have to protect them. and do all that we can to help them. So we are having this time of question and answer with Victor Novici on Thursday. He arrives on Wednesday afternoon. On Thursday, we will have this thing at 11 o'clock. And we're asking those who would like to come to just let me know. And you can WhatsApp me on 246-266-2707. And you can tell us if you're coming. Then on the main event, the very main event, which is for everyone, families, everyone, is on Saturday the 26th at 6 p.m. at Combermere Hall. All of these events are free. They are free, folks. All these events, we just want you to come and take in all that's going on. It's going to be a musical production and a youth rally. We have many wonderful Praise Dance Academy dancers are going to perform for you, and they are going to do a very brand new song that X Out Loud, which is Victor's trust, what he is attached to, have given permission, and they have done the most awesome choreography to this anthem, which is speaking about this confusion and that there is no confusion. They're just two genders. So after the musical production, Victor will be on hand there to talk and give us I guess almost an hour. Wouldn't it be about an hour? We're thinking 6 till 8
Yes.
o'clock. Yeah, 6 till 8 o'clock. And we want you to invite your youth groups, your camps, your Sunday school class children. We want you to come. There are going to be free books handed out, children's books. We've got lots of books, children's books called No Dress for Timmy. Those of you who were involved in the rally, the protest rally that Watch Out My Children was involved with recently against the child protection bill that is rumbling along right now. They're about to press the button on that, but we are still fighting that. Letters are going. The commission wrote in the newspaper on Sunday that if you have something to say, now is the time to say it. You may email it. You may request an audience with them. But folks, if we don't speak up right now, you can just go in your living rooms and take whatever comes, because by golly chuck, it's coming. And if we don't speak up, I don't know what else you can't click. You can't go back and say, why did this thing happen? You didn't say anything. There is power in our mouths, the spoken word. We have the ability to speak out. Those of us that can write can write. We need to do something. See Caswell is doing something. He's doing it. You see Marcia, she's doing something. I'm with them. Anyone who is doing something, you get a lot of licks for it. You get a lot of people telling you that you're gone off the deep end, and that's fine too, because the deep end is where I'd rather be than just to lie down in my bed and let these people do whatever they want with our children. No Dress for Timmy. That is written by one of our very own Caribbean people, Chef Lorne Ballantyne, a father of a son who went to school, and he encountered this nonsense on career day. He was expected to come, all the children were told to come in career dress up. Career, not gender, career dress up. And he had a very good little friend, and that friend was a boy, and he said, I'm going as a girl because I think I identify as a girl. And Timmy said, no, you're my good friend. You are a boy. You could never be a girl. Oh, well, that's what I'm going as. So it went on that the career day came, and the teacher brought all the children up, doctor, nurse, lawyer, whatever. Timmy was going as a missionary. His dad was a missionary, so he was going as a missionary. And George turned up in his princess outfit with his lovely hair and makeup. and said he was Georgina. And teacher instructed all the children to affirm him and tell him that that was wonderful. And Timmy said, not me. I can't tell no lies. I gotta tell you the truth. And she shut him up and kept him back after school and punished him for that. But you know what, folks? The truth shall set us free. And who is free indeed. So we will speak up and tell the truth. Those little books will be handed out on Saturday, the 26th at 6 p.m. Please, please, please come. We have 500 seats to fill. We don't want one person, we don't want one seat wasted. Come and meet Victor and come and support the Praise Dance Academy, a wholesome, Christian, wonderful place for you and for your children to go and be raised up in the proper, wonderful knowledge of who they are and who they were born and meant to be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And yes, thanks, Michelle. And Michelle, as it said here, to remove the ban by Amazon of no dress for Timmy, because
Yes.
as we know,
Mhm.
we've been saying this is a book that has been banned by Amazon. I was telling them
Mhm.
last night that there's so
Mhm.
many of these other books, right?
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
that are pushing this gender confusion, and those books are being carried by Amazon. But this book that is clarifying it for the children that there are only two genders, Amazon gets up and bans the book. And so we have the book here in Barbados, and that book is going to be distributed at the event at Combermere
Mhm.
School Hall, and at 6 p.m., right, Michelle?
Yes, yes, 6 p.m. Yes, come early and get a front seat.
Yes.
Come early.
And Victor is going to give his full testimony. And I think parents
Yeah.
too who have a lot of questions, right? About
Yes.
this, because you see it
Yes.
happening in your homes. Teachers we're asking teachers to come out as well, so they're able to identify, and to help. And so what we're doing is, it's much more than just activism, but it's also education. Would you say that, Michelle?
Yes. Very much so. It is educate. Many, many people are still living in the dark about this, and it is a chance for them to find out more and to delve more and to pay more attention to what is happening to our children in our schools. It's not up to the state and it's not up to the teachers. It is up to each one of us parents who have been gifted with children. It's up to us, and we need to take a stand. That's really what it comes to. And Marcia and Watch Out My Children and Praise Dance Academy, Speak Life are all on board with this, and we are doing what we can with the help of many people who feel led to assist us. We need many more people to help, but we would like as many people to come and ask questions. It's complete. No question is a stupid question.
Hmm. And we're not. General says no march this weekend. We are going to be planning and reviewing and so on. So we want to encourage people to come down. Those of you who have concerns, or you have young people and you want them to be able to hear from other young people, and to strengthen them in their beliefs before they go back out to school, because we're not even sure what is going to happen,
Mm,
within our school system. And
mm.
I want to invite Mr. Caswell Franklin just to share again what he said to us last night. He was saying to parents, if it were to ever happen in the school in Barbados, you had a recommendation, Mr. Franklin. What were you saying?
No, I was suggesting that, remember, religious groups under the Constitution of Barbados can establish their own schools. Take the children out of those environments. Remember's idea. I just showing where, even though it was an idea, the law allows it. Our supreme law allows it. So I will support anybody who want to take their children out of this type of environment, because it is I think it's the devil's work. I care about that, man. And we got too many people promoting the devil's work and not enough promoting the service work. And governments are taking part, and ours, especially because we want the people's aid, we jump in without thinking what will happen to us. They're saying in this country that they're blaming the lower birth rate to the problems at national insurance. But yet, said you want to put two men together and ensure that they don't do anything to the birth rate. You know what I mean? You know, and I guess told you last night, two rams do not make a lamb. You have to have a ram in a ewe, you know? And these people, even though they know they claim what the problem is, they don't want to acknowledge it until the people say about it. That might be good for your society. But for ours, if we do that, our society will destroy. Not to destroy our society, mind you, will come and take our lands and build resorts. So it's up to the people of Barbados not to be misled.
Yeah, and the feeling to believe when the government is saying that it will not happen, because we're seeing, we saw some things that made us concerned, and I think that is why Michelle is involved. Michelle, how do you feel? Is it something that you're a grandparent? Are you comfortable that this will not be in the school system in Barbados, Michelle? What are your thoughts?
Will
Okay,
do any. Am I muted?
yeah,
Am I muted?
you're,
Yeah.
we can hear
Go
you
ahead.
now. So just
Right.
repeat what you said.
Yeah. I said I will do anything in my power to prevent anything that is taught to my granddaughter that I do not adhere to, any kind of indoctrination that would take place in school without her parents or grandparents' permission or blessing. I am against, and I totally feel that it will come to time, because I know people who have done it in Canada. They have actually started their own schools, and as so long as Caswell says it is still um, within the law and legal, the Seventh-day Adventists have their own schools. The People's Cathedral has their own school. The Catholics have their own schools. As far as I know, there are some Muslim schools, and I do not see why any of us that are against what they are going to teach them in the government schools and private schools, if we do not wish our children to be taught that way. Either homeschooling has to be made more easier to get permission to do, or we form our own school with our own teachers and people who will come alongside and give up their time. It has to be. This is a. You have to, when you sign up to be a believer and a follower of a faith, it is for life. It is not for a time, it is for a life. You sign on for life. You don't give up along the way. So when these teachers, a teacher who is a vocational teacher is always a teacher. They die a teacher. A nurse who is a vocational nurse, she is never ever not a nurse. She will die a nurse. So we have to give sacrificially to our children. There is nothing, no other way. I know homeschooling has been allowed in BIM for years, but let me tell you, if you have ever gone through the doors in order to try and make it happen and try to jump through the hoops, it is an exhaustive situation to get permission. You have to have home visits. You have to prove this, that, and the next. You have to go the extra long miles to get it. It is permission. It is allowed in Barbados, but it is not made easy. It is not made easy. But schools where we pull out the children and put them in it because we don't believe that we want our children to go that road. So long as we still can, we should. That's my opinion.
Yes, yes. Yes, thank you, Michelle. And can you tell us again what is happening this weekend? Just take the next couple of minutes and just some people have just joined, and
Yes.
I know they know we don't have a march on Saturday, and they're probably wondering what's going to happen. So talk to them about Saturday.
So we still have something for you to get involved in on Saturday, the 26th at 6 p.m. Bring your whole family, bring granny, bring everybody, all children, and come to Combermere. In the hall, we will be putting on Praise Dance Academy, and Watch Out My Children will be putting on for you a musical production and youth rally starting at 6 sharp, and it will run until about 8. And right after the musical presentation will be Victor Novici, who is visiting with us, and he is delighted to be coming and sharing his own story of his walk to freedom and to healing from gender confusion. And so when we hear that story, there will be a question and answer time. And as I said before, there is no stupid question. So we are looking forward to seeing as many of you teachers, Sunday school class teachers, leaders, lawyers, pastors, everyone. Just come. Books are being handed out free. The event is totally free. There's no charge whatsoever. We may ask for a small donation to offset the expenses of any future presentations, because all of this is done completely on gifts and donations
Gifts and
that come.
donation. So Michelle, I have to get a little controversial here, Miss
Yeah.
Caswell. I think I'm hanging around Caswell too much. Caswell, you know what your friend Commission wrote and sent out. He's the ambassador, and pick up on himself to write to say that they watch out my children, and this move that we have about protecting the children, that is being sponsored by a radical right wing group. So Michelle, this is what the ambassador to CARICOM would risk his reputation to write such a lie, to say
I
that the
I
Michelle,
hope he's listening now, or someone could tell him that the grassroots people of this country, the ones that only have $5 left in their purse, but they want it to go to a place like this that would help our young people. That is the $5 that we are using to put with the other $5 and the other. So we are not getting any money from overseas or wealthy people even. Not even wealthy people are putting into this. We are getting the people who get it and don't want to see their children going down these roads. And it's that is put together and multiplied. I don't know if anyone listening knows about multiplication, but when you get something good and a positive something and a positive and a positive is added together, you get more positives. We don't have bad money. We only have good money. And when you have good money, it multiplies for us. And that is what Marcia and them, they live on whims and prayers and miraculous things that happen that are unexplainable, but the money just comes in time, every time.
so you
No
all need
money
to
from overseas.
from overseas. So that was a blatant. I'm not saying he's a liar. I'm saying what he
No,
wrote. We know that it's a
it's
blatant lie. I don't know who fed him that information. Did you see that Caswell was going around on social media about
I
us?
Well, unfortunately, it was reported to me because if I see anything written by him, I just skip past it. I don't dignify it with a read. So somebody told me what was there, and I had to go back and look for myself because I don't normally. He is completely discredited in my eyes. I have little or no regard for him. I told you some time ago in one of these shows what he told me, and it just turned my stomach.
Yeah. And this
I,
is even worse. This is even worse for me now. This is completely worse for me now because I know that it's a lie. And it's unbelievable that he would really commission the ambassador to CARICOM, would sit down and a lawyer as well and write a lie about people like that to send it out. I'm not saying he is a liar. I'm saying what he wrote is a lie, a complete lie. And I don't know who advised him. Probably somebody might have told him something and he didn't check it. But it's, to be that
mm-mm.
careless and to,
he,
yeah.
he made it. He made it up. He made it up. Trust me, he made it up. But
Uh,
just keep
Let
on
me see.
going. Don't
Heather,
let us
you're
distracted.
muted.
Right.
Go
What
ahead,
I
Heather.
wanted to say was that in most cases, if you have a position and people don't like what you say, automatically they're opposed it. They are against it without even examining the pros and cons of what you are saying. So just because you are you, and they perhaps perceive that there is something wrong with what you say or whatever, instead of going to the facts and addressing the issue, it is you technically thereafter, regardless of whatever you say, they're going to oppose it. Some
But
people are like that, and we can't change them.
look,
Can't.
look, people have approached me, and I mentioned it to Marcia. They asked me, "How you get involved with her?" And start telling me all that. I said, "Don't want to hear you." So I trust Marcia. I have every confidence in her, and you are not going to. So you don't come and tell me I don't want to hear you. But
Exactly.
they will try. You see, they will try to destroy anything that is good, anything that is positive. But
Yep.
I can trudge on with
Yeah, we
Marcia.
keep moving on. We keep
Amen.
moving on. And listen, Caswell is a real deal. Michelle is a real deal. Heather, the real deal. Listen, and a lot of real deal people out there watching. And that's why it's a real deal. Those real deal people were out there doing the protests. And we're going to go straight into that now. But Michelle, thank you so much for being on with us this evening and for enlightening us and inviting us to that event on Saturday, the 26th, 6 p.m. at Combermere School. Okay. Thank you so very much. God bless you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
Mitch.
Cass. Bye, Cass.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye. Yes, yes, yes. No, Mr. Franklin, I heard Mr. Ellis on Brass Tacks today, and he was talking about this tax break. I don't know if Heather saw it. It was I believe it was a Nation newspaper, right on the front page. There is going to be a tax break that they're giving to landowners, land tax break for 1 year. So David Ellis was saying, so what does that mean? It means that the people who are protesting, they're going to shut up now because they're getting, they're giving out things, which is what they normally do. So here we come. Oh, we're giving you land tax break for 1 year. We give you $100, and so that does that mean that those who are concerned about the pension age being extended, that they're going to shut up, Caswell?
Look, you see, government got to stop this foolishness. This absolute foolishness. Every time you have them in a corner, they come out and throw a little grain at you, and say, well, "Okay, look, we give you a little something," and distract people away from what the real issues are. You see, like, so they ought to give you a tax break. But this year is a year to review the tax rates in Barbados. So that's what they can do: review the rates, and they can start paying a lot more taxes after that. And the thing, if they are suffering for money, they need money badly. rather than raid the national insurance fund and take it up, collect the taxes that they're supposed to collect and use them rather than use the national insurance fund. You see, all smoke and mirrors, $100. $100 buy half pair of shoe. You know, if you buy if you can buy a decent pair of shoes in Barbados, $100 will buy half pair of shoes. I see. I don't want to talk about these things because I help people get school clothes and books for their children. And trust me, I tell you, they're not cheap. $100 is not just scratching the surface. But that is to distract people away from it. What the government should have been doing is to build the foundation. I see since back in the 70s, we had a textbook loan scheme for secondary schools. But how are you going to get to the secondary school if you don't pass through and the primary? So that scheme should, or something similar, should be in the primary schools to build a foundation. They're building the roof first. But that was sexy politics. But the people who need it most, the little children, a lot of these parents are unemployed. Some of them can't afford the books. Sometimes let me tell you, these people buy books piecemeal because they can't go to
True.
the book places and buy it and say, okay, I want my books today. $100 are not going to do anything about that. And if you get the $100, you can go and buy some ramen because you ain't got the money to buy food anyhow. So what you're going to do, you're going to give everybody $100. Even the richest man in Barbados will get $100. But he don't need it. A lot of these people who are middle class and upper middle class, $100 will mean nothing to them. So take all of those $100 bills and help the poor, the really poor, the people who really need it. Don't come up with these little gimmicks because that's all there are. Come up with innovative ideas, even with national insurance thing. You start taking away more money from people, and they've left major issues not addressed. I was just sitting down here. What you see me when Michelle was speaking, I was doing a little calculation here, just to show the people something that the government missed that they could have worked on and collected more money rather than go after the people who are already paying. We have a lot of professionals in Barbados who, in order to get contracts with government, they have to have a tax clearance or an NIS clearance. If they don't pay an NIS, they don't. So what they do, they pay national insurance at the minimum rate. And you pay the minimum that you can pay the national insurance on is $21 a week earnings or $91 a month. And if you are self-employed and you claim that your earnings have $91, you pay $15.56 a month for your contributions. For a whole year, that is $186.72. Now they say that you have to pay for 15 years in order to qualify for a pension. So these people will pay 15 years and qualify for a pension. And over those 15 years, they will pay into the national insurance scheme $2,800.80 for 15 years. But when they qualify for a pension, they get the minimum pension because national insurance will not pay you less than $243 a month as a contributory pension. That is 11 weeks pension that you will get, 11 and a half weeks. So we have lawyers and taxi drivers and minibus men who make good money, but they claim that they only earn $91. Government should first of all, they should do is to raise the minimum rate because that minimum rate was set in 1966. You know how many times things went up in 1966? When I went to Commonwealth School in the 70s, I used to get $150 a week for lunch, and I used to buy lunch for a whole week. $150 wouldn't get you out the door because you couldn't get on a bus with it. No, so you see, these people are attacking the problem from the wrong end. That I am sure people in Barbados wouldn't feel pleased to know that I am paying $300 out of my money every week, every month for national insurance, and they got lawyers and doctors and minibus men, taxi drivers and stuff who claim that they only earn $91 a week, a month, or $21 a week, and they pay on that contribution level. So then they will get a tax clearance because national insurance will show that they paid national insurance for this month. But come pension time, they're the first at the head of the queue looking for their pension, and they will get $243. Like, like the people who work in the gas stations and the plantations and stuff who work basically minimum salaries, minimum wage people, this is what they will get. But they will be contributing for the same 15 years as you. And while you are paying $2,000 in for 15 years, $2,800 for 15 years, by 11 weeks, you will get back that. And folks, and most people live more than 11 weeks after retirement. So what the government should concentrate on fixing little problems like that, because it's easy to fix. All you have to do is to say, well, look, the minimum national insurance contribution now will be on $300 or $250, something like that, but certainly not $91, a rate that was fixed in 1966. You know, then the people who earn top dollar, then you can only get you pay only $5,120 a month. That's the you only pay contributions on that, and your pension will be based on that. Now, if they wanted to do something, they could carry up this rate and say, well, look, $8,000, but the $3,000 over that, you will not get the same level of pension as the other people. There's so many things that they can do, but they attack the poor first. They do it all the time. They feel that the poor don't have a voice, and they don't. Somehow they probably feel that they don't think, and they go and take the harshest measures on the poor every time. Look, IMF comes here and insists that we should lay off people. They lay off the people that earn the $2,000 and that kind of thing. And a person who is earning $2,000 is going to lose savings. You lay them off, they get government benefits for 26 weeks, and another 26 weeks, you suffer in silence because Barbadians don't allow people to know that they're suffering. They don't cry out. They stay at home, they drink water, and make pear leaf tea. I'm talking about I'm talking about situations that I know. Get some pear leaf and boil them and don't make the sugar and drink that rather than speak up. Hopefully next day somebody will give them something to eat. But they're not going out there and telling people, I am hungry, I need food, I don't have any money. And government must be able to take care of them. But when you send them home and don't give them any welfare, because right now welfare is cutting back. You see recently here they just pulled back when for a victim was evicted. Welfare department said, well, it's not paying your rent. And then when the nation highlighted it, they come back and say, no, that's not what we're doing. They did it, The government is always attacking the most vulnerable.
That's the problem. That's the problem there. And that's what this whole thing is about, guys. This is what it's about. And that's why we will not allow them. We are not going to allow them to distract us by giving us all kinds of handouts, etc. We
Baubles.
refuse. Repeat.
I said the handless baubles.
Baubles?
Baubles.
Ah, what's that? What do you mean?
Trifling.
Okay, Heather, you're saying something? Is that a Bajan thing? You're saying?
Trinkets is what you mean?
Yes.
Trinkets, right. Like worthless things.
Oh, is that a Bajan word or is it a word I just don't know? What is he saying?
It's probably a word you don't know.
Things that don't cost much is what they're
Don't
giving
cost
people.
much. Okay, I got you. That they're giving people. And I heard Mr. Someone came on and said, no, the people are going to continue marching, even though they're getting these gifts. And Mr. Ellis said, well, we'll wait and see. So listen, Mr. Franklin, I want to know, um, when are we meeting this week? Did you get a chance to tell us yet when is that meeting? And so that we can do the
The
postmortem on the. Yes, go ahead.
I want to do that on Wednesday. I was trying to find the time on Wednesday, but the labor department hooked me on Wednesday, so I got to. This is a case for this racial discrimination case that I have. They contacted me today and said, well, it, they want to do it on Wednesday, so I got to reschedule. Gotta look now and see, because these days are very.
Kelly. Yeah, Kelly
Um,
Prescott is saying, when you don't have foresight, you keep practicing corned beef and biscuit politics. And that's what how they see us. They feel that they can throw a little something at you and then you're going to be quiet. And I am really hoping that Bajans will say, absolutely not this time. Even if you go out and take the $100, it has nothing to do with the pension. Right? Go ahead, Heather.
Sorry, before you go, I want to do it on then Thursday. Then since Wednesday got taken up, about 11 o'clock.
Okay, so Thursday at 11 o'clock, and where are we going? Where are we meeting? This is Unity
Unity.
Workers. Okay, where, and this is in Belleville, isn't it?
Yes, number 5 6th Avenue.
Number 5 6th Avenue. Right, number 5 6th Avenue. Throughout the night, I'm going to write it up and put it up on the screen. And so that is where we are going to be meeting. This is a Unity Workers Union in Belleville, number 5, building number 5, 6th Avenue in Belleville, 11 o'clock. So if you are interested in contributing any ideas to what how do we move forward with these marches, you want to get involved in the planning, Mr. Franklin is going to sit down. We're going to pull apart what we did before and try to review it and to come up with ideas on how we move forward. Right. So anybody give me a thumbs up, those of you who can make it Thursday at 11 o'clock. Thursday, 11 o'clock at the Unity Workers. Yes, Unity Workers right there in Belleville, building number 5 on 6th Avenue. And yes, so Mr. Franklin, how many persons you can hold there?
Well, I can hold a good few because you're not going to be sitting around twiddling our thumbs. We can go start working. I can have about 20, 30 people inside there.
20, 30 people, and they're going to be physically making placards and so on.
That is one of the things we will discuss. We want that we will be doing the placards over a period, because I have the placards already made just for the slogans and the actual the paste on the placards, because those are the placards that be used in Nurses March. So all we have to do is to recycle them, tear off Nurses thing and put the NIS thing on top of them. Because they're made of like piece of wood and piece of stick, so you have a little thing they can carry. Because whenever you have to carry a sign in your hand and hold it like this, it's a bit tiring.
Yeah, and we thank, Lynette made a lot of those signs and other people made a lot of those signs, so we want to thank them for that. But as we are building and moving forward,
but we still
want
wanted to make them, but this time we will put them on a stronger base so that they will be able to stand up and you wouldn't have to use both hands to hold them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's Unity building. It's number 5, 6th Avenue in Belleville, right? The Unity Workers Union, Unity Workers Union building, number 5, 6th Avenue in Belleville. Okay, so
We
I
have
see. Go
Quentin.
ahead.
Mark Quentin is asking, saying good night. We need T-shirts. Really well. I'm wondering if he's saying that he's going to contribute some T-shirts or something like that. I don't know because it wasn't clear. I know he's
Yes, Mark Quinton. Go ahead, Heather.
Now that you have mentioned t-shirts as well, is there still how much is it? 110% duty on imported t-shirts?
I don't know. I haven't done that in years. I don't follow up on customs duties. No, I used to be a customs clerk years ago, but that is way back. So I really don't know the rates now. I know when they set those rates, that was to protect local and CARICOM industry. So they put massive duties on them so as to prevent people to buy the ones that were made locally.
But there's no industry now, so the duty should come down. A
No,
few
but
months ago,
it don't not work like that. If they're making money, they can keep on making money. You know how many times, and even with the merchants, how many times they tell you, oh, when the duties come off, we will pass on the prices. Remember the NSRL? They were
yes.
supposed to bring down the prices when they take it off. You saw any prices come down? They then say, oh, the freight went up, and they give all kind of things, and then the insurance went up and all kind of stuff, and the prices of everything went up. That nothing came down.
So how could a person petition the government to get or ask the government to remove the 110% duty since there's no longer an industry?
No, they will tell you that this is a common external tariff, and that is applied to CARICOM. So they're gonna go to CARICOM heads, the government, and all kind of stuff to agree on these changes, and they can get done.
I see. I see. But a
Yeah.
simple
So
piece of cotton shouldn't be so expensive. It doesn't make sense. One t-shirt costing $35. Remember, Marcia, when we had the Ujama promotions with
mhm.
t-shirts?
Yeah, yeah, it's
$35.
expensive. That's why Caswell is asking Mr. the wonderful gentleman, Mr. Mark Quinton, if he would help with that. And you know what? There might be people out there who might want to donate these T-shirts. Okay, and so listen, come up to Unity Workers Union, number 5, 6th Avenue, Belleville. Is a meeting to plan the next March, and the meeting is moderated by Caswell Franklin. The date, I didn't put the date on this, which we'll do another one and put out the date, but it's going to be on Thursday. Okay, on Thursday, that's the 24th, Thursday the 24th at 11 a.m. Unity Workers Union. Come out, guys, because a lot of you telling me you have so many ideas. You're messaging me all the time about ideas. So please go over there, talk with Caswell, and let's plan this thing out and make it even bigger and better. And somebody need to tell Mr. Ellis that there's no stopping us now. We're on the move. There's no stopping us now. We're on the move. We're on the move. And for those who say, well, they're gonna get tired and they're gonna stop. What would you say to those people? They say, oh, Bajans, they're gonna be tired of that very, very soon. What you say to them, Mr. Franklin?
No, that is the normal practice. So that is what they are hoping. But we have people that are committed now, and people who realize that this is their lifeline being taken away. When National Insurance advertising said it's more than whatever they call it, it's your lifeline.
It's
That
more
is
than a
correct.
contribution.
More than contribution, it's your
Mm-hmm.
lifeline. It is really your lifeline, because after retirement, let's say you're earning minimum wage. Minimum wage does not allow you to save and build up for and put aside for a rainy day. The only put aside for a rainy day was that contribution, that lifeline. And when you retire, or if you get ill and cannot work, you can become, they call them, say you get invalidity benefits, but doesn't necessarily mean you're an invalid. You do nothing. It just means that you are not fit to do the work that you're trained for, or or any other work that, for instance, if you were an accountant and you got a lash on top of your head and you can't remember numbers and stuff, you're an invalid. That means you can't fork a garden, but you're invalid because you're qualified as an accountant. You work with numbers and stuff. Mind you can still feed the chickens and stuff, but you're not totally invalid for the purposes of the definition of invalid for national insurance. It is that you cannot work in the area that you were trained for or are capable of working in. And we have a lot of people like that. And if you don't have any money, you haven't put aside for a rainy day other national insurance, and then the government decided they can take my national insurance away, your lifeline gone. And people are realizing this, because they know what national insurance can do. You know what it is? The fees all when the postman turn up, when you were cooking this evening, you were cooking eclipse biscuits, onions, and butter and that kind of stuff. You cook them and roll them together and you eat that. And then the postman comes and you can go to the post office and get that check cash and at least buy 2 chicken wings to put with those biscuits. You know what I mean? It is a lifeline, and government is taking it away. It is as simple as that. You don't have any income coming in. You don't have any savings. You are waiting. People say you are working paycheck to paycheck. Well, you are living national insurance check to national insurance check when you are at levels like me and other people like that. We don't have those fantastic sums that we can don't even bother every national insurance check comes. And those are the people that government is attacking. And you see, that's the majority of the people. That's the majority. Government is attacking the majority of people because they can't contribute to your campaign. Because if you don't got money to buy lunch for your kids, you don't got money to put in a political campaign. So the people who put money in the campaigns get the benefits. They get the road contracts. They get whatever else. Some of them are not even contractors, and they get contracting jobs after the campaigns. We had so many people who didn't know the difference between a 10-penny nail and a 6-penny nail, but they got jobs as contractors when the government changed. And then what they did, they found people who were really contractors and split the deal with them. But if you are earning basic wages and you don't have any money to pay the government or pay the politicians, national insurance is the only money you're going to get for the rest of your life after you retire, unless you're lucky enough to hit lotto. And that is, I wouldn't advise people to go there and put their pension and thing in lotto, because you might put it in there and then you don't get back none. Little bit content is great gain, they tell you. Well, that is all they will get, little, and government is taking away little. So I don't mind the $100, because a lot of these people can't get anything, because people like me, I'm not going to get $100. All of my children are grown, and my grandchildren are not even here, so it doesn't make much sense. So people like me ain't going to get none. But everybody, every worker in Barbados will be entitled to national insurance, though. And they can do better with the national insurance as well, because you pay 11.1% of your wages toward the national insurance. But 2% of that 11%, 2% of your salary goes to pay non-contributory pensions. Non-contributory pensions is not a national insurance. It's not national insurance business. That was a welfare department thing. That was the government have to look after the people know who didn't qualify for national insurance or people who didn't work or whatever and can't get to qualify for national insurance. They're able to get a non-contributory pension, which is about $230 because that wasn't when I told the people that if they follow the Barbados, their party plan to raise it to $230 a week, it's going to do harm to the national insurance scheme. Mind you, it should never be doing any harm to this national insurance scheme because it should never have been in the national insurance. It should never be national insurance business. That was the welfare department. But what they did, they took the burden off the government and put it on the workers.
So the workers are paying for the 2% goes.
People who didn't pay national insurance.
So that's a non-contributing pension, 2%.
Yeah, 2%, two of that 11. Because 11.1% you think. But it is broken down because national insurance fund, the money goes in national insurance, to go to national insurance. Some goes to severance, some goes to unemployment, some goes to non-contributing, some goes to the national insurance to deal with the pensions and whatever else. And what they can do, that 2%, even if you don't want to take it off and then you start paying 9.1%, leave it in there, but apply it for national insurance purposes. Leave it in the fund for national insurance purposes rather than this is the government's rule. The government must take care of the government did not set up national insurance to take care of the old age people. I remember when I was a little boy, my grandmother got her pension. Mind you, she got her pension was 68. The age was 68 back then. And Tom thought that was too high, and he lowered it to 65. I know these people come back and carry back at 68, you know.
But leave theirs. They're not sacrificing. That's the other thing. But go ahead. There's no sacrifice for them.
No, they're saying that we're in this together on the radio, but in reality,
right.
You know, they're good. They're good. That's it. They're good snake oil salesmen. You know, they go and they talk pretty, but their words and their actions don't coincide.
Exactly.
But what about this? You're talking about I learned about the 2%. I don't know if Heather knew about that 2% of the 11%, 11.5% goes towards helping those who did not contribute to the fund. I learned that tonight. So basically, we are paying. We the burden is on the employees to take care of the elderly. Because we are giving them pension, not the government, but we are the ones giving them pension. Isn't that interesting, Heather?
Yes. So, Caswell, are you saying then that the old age pension should come out of the consolidated funds?
Yes, that's where it used to come from all along.
Okay.
And then the government took the burden out of the consolidated fund, and put it on the national insurance. People pay national insurance. National insurance is an insurance. That's what we call it, insurance. You pay into an insurance and you get back in the end. Those people never paid in, so they're not supposed to be getting from the national insurance fund. But the government is saying they didn't pay, but you got to pay for them.
I see.
This is not fair. All along, you see, when they go to the IMF and the IMF tell them, but you got to cut back on this, cut back on that, they shift the burden away from the consolidated fund to say, oh, well, you see, we are not spending so much anymore. Just like when they form the statutory board, and then they say, oh, the government isn't paying all this money. No, the money is still, salaries are not too high anymore because the salaries now are not being paid by the central government. So the government salary bill comes down on paper. But then you form a statutory board, and the salaries are now transfers to the so they're no longer salary. The salary comes out of the statutory board salaries come out of the transfers to the statutory board. So it doesn't come to the salary. So the government salary bill comes down. So there's a lot of smart things.
Oh wow, interesting, man. You have to say that again. Say that again, because that I listen every night. I come on here, I learn something. So for my purposes, repeat that for me, Mister Franklin.
Government were told by the IMF and everybody else, oh, your salary bill is too high. Like, for instance,
Right.
the hospital, the salary bill was too high. So in order to bring down the salary bill, the hospital comes out from the consolidated fund and they make that a statutory board. So now all that money that should be paid into the hospital is not salaries, no longer shows up on the balance sheet as salaries.
Mm.
What they do, however, they transfer money, and they call it transfers to statutory bodies, and the transfer to statutory bodies, the salaries for them will be included in there, but it does not show up as a salary. So the salary bill is down. It is smoke and mirrors because it is the
Hmm.
same. It is you just get somebody else to pay it for you, another entity called a statutory board, but it is because most of these statutory boards don't make money, so the money still has to come from government. It just don't come in the form of a salary anymore.
Interesting. Heather, you seem like you had a question there.
Yes, I wanted to know, going back to this thing about changing the ages from 65 to 68 and whatever, does the Constitution give government the authority to do this?
I don't believe they do it for the civil servants, but for the national insurance, I can't tell you that the national insurance is, but I know your pension in the public service is protected by the Constitution. So that is why when the government changing the pension in the public service, they have to get your consent. They have to get a document signed by you, give you an option. Because when you come into the service, let's say the retirement age was 60 when you join the service. They can't
Mm-hmm.
change that to 68 unless you sign on the dotted line. But they can do it for new entrants. And that's what they have done now. The
Okay.
new people who are coming in will have to go on to 68. It is the people who are already there. If you came in when the retirement age was 65, then your retirement age is 65 and it stays there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Under when they had other amendments to the pensions regulations and the Pensions Act, they gave the people an option. They said, oh, it would be better for you. And some people listened to the propaganda and went and signed over and then realized, oh, what did I do? I know of one man who used to work at CBC when CBC used to be like a government department. And then when he had government service as well as service at CBC. But he went and signed on the dotted line and then raised his age and then didn't make the requirement. If he didn't sign on, he would have got it.
Wow.
But he was young, listened to the politicians telling him things, and then when he came to my office and we checked, there was not, and they said, well, you have to check with personal administration. They said, but you signed the thing. They got the document that he signed. They ain't got nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm. So I saw that they are having a meeting with BARP, and I'm surprised that I'm not. I mean, I'm surprised that we're not hearing any barking from BARP. There's not. We're not
Well,
hearing much from BARP.
Bart doesn't need to say anything except know that they have made a mockery out of Bart and start recruiting people as young as 40 years old and call them members of the Barbados Association of Retired Persons. But you see, that is a money grab. Um, they want income, so they lower the age so far to make Bart ridiculous. Because
Mm-hmm.
Bart was fashioned over the AARP, the American Association of Retired Persons, but you had to be retired.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since Bart lowered the age down to I think it's 40s. I mean, you can now go in and claim that you're a retired person and get a BART card. That gives BART more income.
Mm-hmm.
And it has nothing to do. So they might have to advocate for their members who are 40 and stuff. Because
Right.
if you're over 60 at the first of January next year, these changes don't apply to you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
So once you're over 60 by January, you've been saying that over and over. I'm just repeating it for those who just came on. Then you don't have to worry about it. But it's those people who are under 60 by
yeah,
January, right? Mm-hmm.
you know, so
Yeah.
Bartno would should be advocating for them because you've been enjoying them up. There's not,
Right. So that's what I was saying. I mean, if they have members, you would think that as a body of, that they would be speaking up. But you're not hearing anything from them. I know that they're going to address them. There's a meeting I see coming up. I think at the end of August. So I was just curious about your thoughts on that.
no, you see what happens. Sometimes people find themselves in associations and stuff leading, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have the wherewithal to push through what they're going to offer. But it looks nice and sexy on your resume or your CV or whatever you feel like calling it to say I'm a member of this and I'm a member of that. The unions, we have a lot of people rushing into the unions so that they can have that there and make them more attractive to the government for promotion, all kind of stuff. They're not doing it for anything, not because they love and care about workers and they would stand up. But in the old days, I remember we had a guy called Carl Trotman, very intelligent man. He would, but he used to fight for workers and they wouldn't promote him. He never got promoted. He never got past senior clerk, but he used to be a fighter, man. I used to admire him. I served under him, and he was chairman of Division 2 when they first joined the union. Division 2 is clerical, executive, technical officers division, and those divisions function that they don't function now. You know, because we don't have people of that commitment. You can't look right now. You don't even find enough people to constitute a quorum for the divisions to get constituted. You know, and they just roll over and pretend that they did it constitutionally. Because then after the rule, the union has a particular rule that says if you don't get a quorum on the first try, whoever turn up, a quorum is 30 for the divisions, you don't get 30 people turning up. So they said whoever turns up the following week, same time, would constitute a quorum. So you will get 6 people turning up and they make the decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And those 6
Mm-hmm.
people are usually 6 fanatics who want to get their promotions. So that the unions have destroyed themselves, aligned themselves to the politicians, attracted the wrong crowd. Because a lot of the people who you see at the levels, at the senior levels in the union, now serving the executive, some of them are clerical officers who want to go and sit down and argue with people who have master's degrees in the disciplines that they don't even have a certificate or 3 weeks training in. So they go to the meetings and they're overawed. So that's what they go to the meeting, prime minister, sit down and smile at the prime minister, tell them sweet little things, and then they come back out and join the Parliament Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
So the unions
I go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead, please.
no, so what is happening there is that they do not have the wherewithal to articulate their cases. They're just there
Mm-hmm.
for the promotion and in some instances for the snacks at the meetings.
It's probably the snacks.
Yeah,
Snacks.
But I know that Heather, you wanted to talk about. You had some questions for Caswell about tourism, especially that they plan to sell off all of these historic buildings. We heard that the BDF is they're going to move the soldiers from there and put them somewhere else. Such a historic location. And we're hearing all these different things that's happening in town, all in the name of tourism. Heather, what are some of the questions you have for Mr. Franklin?
Before we get into questions, I wanted to say that the words, what Mr. Caswell mentioned, that the words of government and the actions do not coincide, because here we have something that is so prevalent right now called climate change, right? Which is changing the way tourism in its past changing how tourism will operate in the future. For example, we have extreme weather, violent, like category 5 hurricanes, wildfires. For example, Maui was ravaged to the ground, and this was about 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. And then prior to that, at the end of July, there was Rhodes Island in Greece that was destroyed as well. And tourists had to be running to the sea in order to survive. And in both cases, that happened. And we also have right now, there is a hurricane category, I think it was 4 or 5 hurricane, an extensive one that is over California and that has done a significant amount of damage. There's a lot of rain and rivers overflowing and things like that. So the way how I see it, all of those features of tourism, all of those features of climate change will cause tourism to change. And a few months ago, the government, I remember Miss Motley was on TV and they were talking about the level of the sea rising, and this is in Barbados. So how come it is that if you know that extreme weather conditions and climate change caused by the warming of the global temperatures will cause the glaciers to melt and the seawater level to rise, and that it will affect us in Barbados? Why are we building hotels all along the south and the west coast of Barbados? It does not make any sense. So I see her as using this climate change as an opportunity to get money, basically. Like everywhere she goes, she's talking to all of these climate change summits and whatever, and is using them as an opportunity to get money. But technically, it doesn't have anything to do with money to secure funding. And I don't know why the emphasis is being placed on building all of these hotels at this time, at this point in time, because we expect the level of the sea to rise. So most likely, at some point in time in the near future, some of the very beaches will be underwater. So why are we building hotels? It's not going to last for a very long time. It's defeating the purpose. So again, the actions of government do not coincide with their words. And she had also spoken with reference to this. I had a newspaper article that I was reading to Caswell last night, and he said that was just PR. So we're doing things that don't make any sense, not for the development of the island. I think that instead we should be growing food. That is what I think. And to focus in on the defense force, building of St. Anne's and St. Charles Fort. These are historic buildings in Barbados. Goes back to hundreds and hundreds of years. There's a cemetery, there are tunnels, and there are these buildings that cannot be replaced. They have a significant value, and I see no reason why that these should be sold off to become hotels. And the Prime Minister said that the concern will be for the upkeep of the building. You can keep them just as they are and upkeep them. You don't have to become a hotel to ensure that they are upkept. So I don't understand at all what is going on there. But perhaps Caswell can. And also, the area is a designated World Heritage Site. So what does that make the site if it becomes a hotel? That I don't understand. So perhaps Caswell can share some of his views on this.
Well, what they might do is to leave the exterior of these buildings intact, and then transform the inside so that it will still look like though it was the old building that the British built when the British soldiers were here 17th and 18th centuries. That is one thought if they want to retain this World Heritage thing. But you made a very good point. Who will be in these properties? Who will come? The Barbados tourism traditionally has been sand, sea, and sun. Well, the sand will be gone just now when the sea level rise. So that's one aspect gone. The sun, I don't say recently, real hot. This is, I've never felt it this hot in my life. Yeah, tourists want the sun, but not this type. So we have to rethink our um, policies in terms of getting money to run this country. It can't just be tourism anymore. And you can't put all your eggs in one basket because right now they're not looking for agriculture. They're not looking for manufacturing. And the thing is, with manufacturing, it doesn't have to be manufacturing to export to the United States and all kind of people. It might be to replace the same foreign exchange, and you would manufacture things in here for the home market and probably even for the people in the CARICOM. Because we're not going to be able to compete. We can't even compete with Trinidad. But you still have to find a way to manufacture here for the local market rather than have to import. Then what they can do is to put the 100 and whatever percent duties on the other manufactured items and keep you and force you to buy local. But you have to provide work for all people because when you are skilled craft, people can't manufacture, can't do things. People import from outside, then these people become paupers and they'll be on the breadline and they'll be looking to get this 9% of their national insurance taken away because they can claim early. So you are helping the industry with these like yeah, hotels. So if you don't have hotels that are full, who are going to fill them now? We're going to put 8 more and put high-rise hotels now, 7 and 8 floors. And if you're not filling the ones we have, our education system must work to educate our people to be entrepreneurs, to be people who will be able to work for themselves because the employers are not going to hire you just because the government want people hired. And these people are there to make money. They're not there to employ people. If they can make the kind of money they're making without a single soul working for them, they would do it. They're not in the business of employment. They're in the business of making money. And they can't, because they can't do it themselves, they hire people. Because they can't run all aspects of their business by themselves. So they hire people. But government has to find a way to get its people employed. Either encourage people to invest in Barbados, do like the Barra government did, establish. Remember, they built the Hilton. Barra built the Hilton, and then let Hilton run it, so that we can attract, get other people to see. Well, this is how it's done. Government gonna start doing some more of that. I hear a lot of people talking about robotics. Train people in that area because that is a big thing. I have a situation. My son fixed my computer. He's overseas, and I log on, and next thing you know, all my computer is going all kind of things up and down all of his screen, and then my computer fixed. He's in New York. You see, so you got to train people, get them to do those kind of things rather than get them to be waiters in the environment because that is not sustainable.
I
And
do.
there are things they are low end. The
Right.
people we get to employ, we get the local jobs to be the people who grass around the hotel, who clean the pool, who serve the drinks, and who prep the food. We don't get the but even look here. the government is going to the PPP with the Arabs and the people from South America, and already they started to employ their people from Dubai or wherever the man come from. You know, and the PPP and enforce it, but the people got the man working already. So when people they're not, so they, of course we always have a CEO at the airport, but you think they can say, well, look, we can continue the Barbados CEO? No, they brought their man in here to learn the what is needed so that he can run the airport.
All right.
So it's
Um,
yeah. Go ahead,
some
Heather.
some additional positions that people, jobs that people can get into that they are always in need of in the US are areas like working in trade surveillance or being business analysts for computer technology for firms and companies, or for when new products come on board. You need people to create to be the business analyst behind particular projects and trade. Since that we have computers and people do trading online and have almost every business is online now, and fraud is very prevalent, a job as a trade surveillance will never go out of business. They need them to secure their funding, every other entity that you can think of, all of these cryptocurrency firms, people need trade surveillance, and there is an excess need in the market in the US now, and there has always been for business, IT business analysts. So these are some areas, some technical areas that we can get into. And agri- things like agriculture, all we need to do is to make our way of doing agriculture more futuristic and bring in technology, things that we have not used before, to make it work. I see that as an area that can work for Barbados. It worked hundreds of years ago when the British came here and they found a product. We can find a product too, and to grow as niches, or several products rather, to grow as niches and become prosperous again, but we're not really trying. And
So Heather,
agriculture
So
is very hard.
yeah, go ahead, Caswell.
Heather, you're so right, you know, and but not only in the those skills with computers, you also have things like nursing. Barbadian
Yes.
nurses are sought after because our nurses are very well trained. Barbados has some exacting standards. You can't become a nurse in Barbados easily. They make it difficult for you to be a nurse in Barbados. So you're so well trained that as soon as the people in the United States see nursing on your CV, that you are a nurse in Barbados, man, that's what we are. That is why when we had nurses from Nigerian nurses, I think they were, they came here, and then next thing you know, they're looking for jobs in the United States, and they're saying, got Barbados on their CV. People just want to see Barbados, because if you can work as a nurse in Barbados, that is a good testimonial for you. So why don't train more? Why don't train like the Philippines? The Philippines train more nurses than they will ever need, and they send them overseas to make money to send back home. But no, we are not doing that because they restrict the amount of people that we can train as nurses in Barbados. So and then the government invite people to call centers, you know, low end jobs again,
No
because
way, yes.
this is waste of manpower, and it is cheap labor that the people farm out of the country, because they don't want it. Because
Right. The
the kind of money
Indians
that they
already
have to
have that
pay,
market.
right? The kind of money that they will have to pay in their own jurisdictions, they can't find people to work for it. So they come to the Caribbean, they come to Barbados, and we got a lot of people with these call centers, and they treat people very badly. I can name a few. I'm not going to do it tonight. I can name a few people who have established call centers in Barbados, and they treat Barbadian workers like dirt. And after working 10 years in a call center, you know you ain't got the skills. You ain't got. We need to upgrade the people's skills, the skill level of people of Barbados, instead of call centers and the bushing. The government has run out
Mm.
of ideas to provide job opportunities for the people of this country.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They
Well,
are even, go ahead.
I was going to read something here that somebody wrote that says, besides turning our people into hotel slaves and construction workers who are underpaid, and we should have education and foreign opportunities and be paid for it, not cheap contractors. Because there are people here who are agreeing with you, guys, that really when they talk about building these hotels and so on, it's we're going to get chump change. It's like what's happening in Guyana with the oil industry. The average person there working in the oil industry is not being paid like the people that they brought in. So it's really like slavery all over again.
But government pushes that type of employment because they don't have any imagination, any vision.
It's true, no vision.
They just do what is left back.
Right. And what Caswell said at the beginning was that the tourism product in Barbados is so limited to sea and sand, and the government has not, or it has not been explored other areas of tourism where people can work, and that is something that we should be concentrating on to make this destination more viable.
Now, the area that was not sea and sand like Harrison's Cave, they gave it away to Chaka, a Jamaican company, and
Mm.
got rid of a lot of the locals, and their
And
everybody
right,
got paid out. And the thing is, I'll tell you something. This might be a bit off of what we're talking about, but the people who own that land that farm the cave and get paid for it,
wow,
all these years, all the Harrison's Cave, all the years you have Harrison's Cave, you have people who live on top of that cave. The law
Mm-hmm.
is that you own everything from the center of the earth to the sky. So I believe that Harrison's Cave is located somewhere between those points. And if you own the land on the surface, you own the land under there, and they have not paid them or given them royalties.
Oh,
Mind
do you
you,
mean the people who are living on top
on
of
the land, because it's like
ah
you go like going under my house and establishing a business and they don't get any rent.
wow.
That's what they have done. Let's say you have a basement and somebody go in there and start occupying it and say, well, this is similar. It is under your house. It is not the government's land. It is the people's land, and the people. Look, I remember in the old days when I worked as a clerk in the Ministry of it was Office of the Attorney General. Um, we used to pay petroleum quota payments. So you will go up and fill up, and you will see an oil well on a spot here. And for all the people in that vicinity, because all the oil is not under that one well, it's all over the
mhm,
place. So if you have land within that particular zone, the government you were paid a payment for the oil that came up from under your land. It is similar to but the well is not on your property. The well is all the way up the road, and your property is all the way down here, but it's like a
mhm.
catchment area. So all the
Right.
people in the catchment where the oil would be get paid. So why is it different for the people in St. Thomas at Allen View who live on top of Harrison's Cave to be compensated for their cave? It is theirs.
Mm.
Government is
Have there ever been any talks about that? I mean, have the people is it anything that they promised them that they would pay those who are living on top of the cave? As you said, it's
the,
their land, and yeah, anybody has
the,
ever talked about that?
the only body I'm here talking about is me. Every
Mm.
government ignored me on that thing because those people are entitled to payments. You go under my house and make money and don't give me none.
Mm.
It is unfair. It is unreasonable. But government does it. Say people again. Those people now Harrison out there can't establish water toilets and stuff because they don't want the thing to get down in the cave. You see what I mean?
Oh,
And
so they have to there are certain things they can't do on their land because
on their own
the
land,
cave
yeah.
is on their own land.
Because yeah, the cave is on their land and they can't do it now. And government has not compensated them. I heard that they were doing some development down there and get putting a sewage system or something off for them. But that's talked for years. I don't know if they ever started or ever completed it yet. I don't know. But government has taken every government of Barbados, not just these here. These people they just took it and gave it to Jamaicans. But there's a company called Chukka.
Mm-hmm.
But all the rest had occupied that land without the owner's blessing and not pay them. Every administration since that cave was discovered by the Swedish fellow.
So but the
You know.
thing is, there was no. I saw few little writing on Facebook about the Jamaicans, the cave, Harrison Cave, going to Jamaicans. I mean, it's one of the few places that we had here that was ours that didn't have anything to do with sea and sand. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to think, what kind of vision do we have, and what kind of mirror image we have of ourselves? You think that Jamaicans are going to take it up and sell you? That's the thing about it. I'm trying to understand. And now you're going to take up the defense force. You're going to use that area's tourism all along Carlisle Bay. They're all, I mean, it just transform the place. Where do we fit? Where do the people fit in all of that? And what do Bajans have to say about it? How do we see ourselves?
It will become no different than Miami or one of those places down south. You won't be able to distinguish Bridgetown with the changes that they are proposing. And I don't think that is the way that we should want it to be. You want something that you can recognize, something that you know. And while someone wrote that tourism is equal to servitude, I totally agree. I think that we should also go into more of heritage tourism. And one area is the arts. We have not told the stories of our ancestors. And I remember, Marcia, you and I had a conversation, could have been last year or year before, and you said that you have that right now, back then and even now, there was no story of slavery in film told from our perspective here in the West Indies. And I told you that I would write one. So we don't have books, we don't have stories, we don't have genealogical studies. These are areas that we can get into that is not tourism based on servitude. So we need to change our entire outlook when it comes to tourism, and we'll be better off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you have
And
to
the
get a
person, go ahead.
vision, right? A government
Yes.
that has a vision. You're not going to have a government that's going to do the same old, and then practice power economics because the powers go home and sell their mothers jewelry, sell the TV, sell anything to get their hands on, and then the parents got only things missing. I even know a friend of mine, he went on drugs, and next thing you know, the father looking for the car was sold. They sell everything for a few rocks or something. So this is what the government is doing now. It is they are selling it now, not realizing that if you sell it now, you ain't got it anymore. They're killing the goose. I let it go and egg. Rather than wait for egg every day, they are actually they say, well, look, we want enough eggs one time, and getting rid of the goose.
Mm-hmm.
They're planning the short sighted.
Mm-hmm.
They don't
Mm-hmm.
think because
This person
I,
is
I
saying,
go ahead.
go ahead, finish your thought. Finish your thought, Mr. Franklin. I'm sorry, and then I
No,
will
no.
will tell you.
All I'm saying is that what the government needs to do is to be innovative, but you have to have an innovative mind to be innovative. They're just a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them. As you look at the people in our parliament and you look at their careers before they went into parliament, they didn't. Most of them didn't have any jobs. They were not employable. So if you have a fellow who cannot manage his own life, you think you're gonna manage Barbados? Not so
Mm-hmm.
easy. Oh yeah, this fellow is saying
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he has
You're
really not
right. It's
wrong.
gonna be hard.
We only had two
Mm-hmm.
main industries: tourism and sugar, and he put rum in brackets. However, no, the PM is encouraging
Mm-hmm.
more manufacturing and other industries. The thing is, tourism is not ours anymore because they're gonna get all the international people. So we don't have any local people really. You got a few small hotels that owned by Barbadians, and they're struggling. And because they don't give them the necessary incentives that you can give the people from overseas. And then, of course, rum is no longer ours because Monguet is owned by people in France. Do you know
Really?
that? Yeah, the people. I'm a French company bought Monguet years ago,
So okay, but
and they're not
it's
even.
go ahead.
You know, and
I'll
they're
leave
not
that
even.
question.
But they can't even be Barbados rum anymore because we're already making enough sugar and molasses. So they're even importing the molasses now to make the rum. You know, so it isn't even ours anymore. It just has the name now.
Mm-hmm. So, do
Um,
you think that the PM is encouraging more manufacturing? Because and other industries, she's saying that the PM is doing that. Is that is that what's happening? Are they trying to diversify the economy at this moment?
But building a hotel is not manufacturing. You don't consider building a hotel manufacturing. And that's all she's out there doing. She want to build hotels all down the coast. That's not manufacturing. What is happening with the manufacturing in Barbados? I don't know. I don't see any local products on the market. We got a few places that make beds and some furniture and stuff. But what else? Point Hill Dairy, we import most of our product to make the juices anyhow. You know what else? We have given up on manufacturing. We decided to go the where they can buy it from China, and I tell you, China, Chinese products I see here are not built to last. They're built for you to come back next month.
the clothes wear them once.
You know,
It's
I'm
true.
serious. I'm serious. Something as simple as a knife. If you buy a knife that was made in Germany, you will pass that knife on to your children. If you buy a knife made in China, 4 to 5 months later, you look up another knife. It mashes up. They don't make after they make quality stuff, they don't send it here.
That's
Mm-hmm.
true. Or
Mm-hmm.
it's very expensive. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you're saying that we don't have a lot of local manufacturing happening in Barbados as we should. I remember when under the other administration, in agriculture, they were manufacturing a lot of the cassava flour, and there was a local brand name that was on a lot
Carmita,
of these potatoes. Repeat.
Carmita, Carmita.
Carmita.
Yeah, we
What
need to do
what
more of that.
happened to that? What
I think
happened to
I think DMC still does something like that, but it is on a small scale thing. And the things are they're very expensive. Because I don't like
Mhm.
the flour myself, and I try to use some of them, but I can't really afford them.
It's not
So we have to
sustainable. It's
produce
too
the
expensive.
volume. We need to produce more. We need to get it in larger volumes.
And then you got to teach people to use them.
Yep. Which is not
So we need,
impossible.
yeah. But people are saying here, the selling of the historic building is a fat in the pockets of certain hidden figures because a lot of just ordinary Barbadians are not going to be able to buy these historic sites, and setting up all these hotels. But go ahead.
No, but you see, the ordinary Barbadians don't have foreign exchange to buy them with. the government wants foreign exchange. So that's what I'm saying. There's power economics
Mm-hmm.
because they're selling the family silver. Look at the ICB. Look at Barbados National Bank, no Republic Bank. I remember the credit unions wanted to get involved, even though I objected to it because the credit unions were not designed for it and they were not allowed by law. I wrote to the Prime Minister and I said, well, look, if you want us to be involved, let's change the law. They don't bother change the law because they wanted some investment. But then they turned around and said they wanted foreign exchange. So, but if we had bought it with Barbados dollars in Barbados, we that wouldn't be able to pay because you don't pay for your imports in Barbados dollars. So they want foreign exchange. So
Mm-hmm.
the next thing you know, they will sell it to people out there who have the foreign dollars to buy it, the US dollars to buy it,
Mm-hmm.
or the next, or whatever they have next now because they might have the bricks $7 too. I don't know. And they are not selling them to Barbadians. They're not interested in Barbadians buying it. But that is the problem. They say they want money. They want money fast without having to do the work for it.
Mm-hmm.
They can't
Mm-hmm.
manufacture. They're not going to sell anything and outside. And even in agriculture, we should be producing food. But all the plantations, what they're doing with the plantations now, they are not cultivating the fields. And then 2 years down the road, they say, see, these fields are just bush, and we want to put some houses on them. And next thing you know, some beautiful land. I used to dig yams as a younger man when I could have bent down. Out there where you have the waste, the waste back, but I had this powder thing that used to be a beautiful yam ground. I did so much yams inside there, yams and sweet potatoes. I used to want to take my own yams and sweet potatoes in those days. Now they push off the dirt and build a place for racing and all kind of nonsense. And mind you, they didn't even get top that because I think, but the people just pushed it off and then that come on later. So we are destroying agriculture. We had a few black belly sheep and we get them to Guyana and I said Guyana can be the food basket. I think I want my food homegrown. I don't want next you know that they got another pandemic and they can't get food imported into Barbados and we ain't got none because we waiting for a boat from Guyana that ain't coming. You have to grow your own food.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It should start from home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Someone is
Mm-hmm.
not saying that they go to these meetings and get talk under the table because they're not thinkers, they're just talkers and sound pretty.
Exactly.
But you really feel like we should be Barbados, black belly sheep, they say indigenous and it's a good quality meat. I remember we send them to Texas. You go to Texas now, you see more Barbados black belly sheep in Texas than they are in Barbados and Guyana.
Really? I knew about Guyana, but I didn't know about Texas. You knew about Texas, Heather? That black
Yes.
belly sheep.
Yes.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's so interesting. I tell you, it seemed to me that it's going to take, in their minds, it's going to be more work to try to come up with other ideas. So they're not into that. They want a quick turnaround. They want things to remain the same way. Heather talked about arts, and I remember a politician. He told me, he said, you could forget about it because I was pushing the film industry. He's like, you could forget about it. That's not going to work here. That's not going to work. We're not going to give up what they see as tourism for film. But what they didn't realize is that as Atlanta is doing and other states, they are pushing their locations. People are going to Atlanta to film in Atlanta because of what? Their location. So we can put film and tourism can go so very well together. We only a couple months ago during the pandemic, at least towards the end of the pandemic, someone from California, some producers reached out to me and they said, we want to come to Barbados. We want to film a romantic comedy. And we, he says, I'm in the meeting and I'm hearing them talking about all these different locations. But he remembered that we brought him, Dave and I, we brought them down to Barbados. So he got really excited and, was telling the other producers, let's try somewhere else. Don't go everything to Hawaii and try, let's try somewhere else. Let's try Barbados. So he reached out to me and said, could you send me a brochure of all the locations, the filming locations? I called the necessary, places here. Of course, the NCF that supposed to have a film desk, and I asked them, "Can I have the information, this information, to pass on to the producers? They're meeting by tomorrow, and they want, this guy's pushing for Barbados." Would you believe, Mr. Franklin? They told me they did not have a list.
Wow.
They did not have a list. I then called up my friend Lisa and I said, Lisa, help me. Because listen, I love Barbados. And I said to Dave, we have to make sure that Barbados gets this film. Because they were coming in with millions of dollars to film here. And I said, let's put it together. We took about 5 days and put it together. Free of cost. We went and put it together. We went, you know what we did? We went on Jamaica's website and saw Jamaica's, the way it was listed. And we copied what Jamaica did and sent it to him. He said, but Marcia, it's too late. They've already gone on to Costa Rica or some other place. They chose somewhere else because we're not ready, because we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the foresight, we don't have the vision to understand that, listen, the product that we're selling, the way we're selling tourism, you want to continue tourism, but we could marry it with something else. We could marry it. We could put it with film. We could put it with the arts. We could put it with so many different things, and not just And so we've been left behind. The same thing. My producer friend tells me the same way. The Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean was supposed to be filmed here. Pirates of the Caribbean was supposed to be filmed in Barbados. They called the producers, told us that they called Barbados, and the guards said that they told them, well, this is Saturday. Nobody's here. Nobody's here, and nobody reached back out to them, and so they went to another island. This is the kind of thing we are not ready. We're not ready. We are not ready. We say we are bright. We are brighter than a lot of the other Caribbean islands, but for some reason that entrepreneurship, the ingenuity, the innovation, where is all of that?
We say that we are brighter than us people, but that is a myth, or it might have been so once upon a time. Once used to say that Barbados had 98% literacy, and I can assure you, I have worked in areas that would give the light to that, because we have some young men coming into place, and I'm telling you, they were born in the 70s and the 80s, who barely get past spelling the name, but they went right to school, So we just have a system where we put you through school, up and out, up and out, and you went to school for 5 years, and you come back, and you can't add two numbers together. It's happening all now in Barbados, and they're talking about education reform and all kind of stuff, but they don't realize that the reformation got to start at the primary level. They have to teach people something and don't promote them unless they actually, like what they used to do in the old days. I remember when we were at primary school, we had a guy. I went to school and I went for FS A, and he was in FS B, and I went to FS B, and he was in FS B. And then while I was in FSB, I was malicious, and I was writing off the work on the board in class 1 because it was a big, long building, And they saw me not paying attention to what was going on, and then they came and checked my book, and they said, but if you get one wrong, we're going to cut it back. So I got all right, and they put me in class 1. He remained in FSB. I went to class 2. He was in FSB. They didn't move him. Then they changed the system. They moved him from FSB to class 5.
Wow.
Because then they changed that reform, and because I had skipped infants B, they kept me down a year because I was too young for the class I was in. That devastated me. I was so angry. because they can't force, Then they got kept on because they weren't old enough. So we've been practicing the wrong things for so long in education. It ain't funny.
So and it starts that the lack of innovation and so on, and and entrepreneurship. Look at the Pirates of the not Pirates, Outer Banks was filmed here, and I remember when they came to Barbados, and they filmed. I spoke with the producer, etc. And you know what the producer said to me, Mr. Franklin? They wanted to work with they wanted to work with small businesses. They really wanted to help Barbados, and they said they kept asking, and they were given all these big businesses to buy material and buy things, and they saw my show online. And they contacted me and said, listen, give us another list. Would you believe that? They contacted me and said, ma'am, Mrs. Weeks, we want you to give us another. We want to benefit the small man in Barbados. And that film was filmed here. However, when you go on Netflix, you know what they say it's filmed in? Bahamas. They give the credit to Bahamas. And I'm saying, who are the people that negotiate these things with these film companies? They come here, but Barbados' name is not on that film. It's Bahamas, and that is upsetting. That's upsetting. Who are the people who negotiate? I don't understand.
No, we don't have a lot of negotiators, We don't train them. We had negotiators. I remember I went to a conference in France years ago, and people were asking me about Brice and John and that kind of stuff, because those were fellas who could negotiate, and I told them, well, Bree is still there. He hadn't died that time, and I told them, but the names that they knew, people negotiated with them. No, we don't have any negotiators. No, we have the Prime Minister going on and capitulating, rolling over and playing dead, and we getting the dirty end of the stick every time, and she didn't even realize it till she's holding the stick, realize that in the use, and then she gotta come back again because they don't have the skills necessary. I told you already on this program that there's different skill sets. You have a skill set to win the election. There's a different set of skills and to manage this country. You have another set of skills to manage the country. The Barbados Labour Party has the skills to win. They do not have the skills to manage.
And I hope Barbadians are listening to that. I hope we're listening to that. And Mr. Franklin is so correct. That's such a profound statement that they have the ability to win elections. It's a different thing when you have to manage. And we can clearly see, even if you are a BLP supporter, look at what has happened in the 5 years. Just look at it. Stop playing politics and stop determining, I'm this and I'm red. Look, I'm wearing red tonight. Right? Think about that and think about the future. What is our mirror image? Where do we see ourselves in the next 5 years? In the next 10 years, Barbados? What do we see? What do we see in Bridgetown? What do we see of our children? What about our education system when over 60% of the people that there's no saying coming out cannot read? What is the mirror image that we have of ourselves? That is what's going as I'm thinking about this, because I get upset. I get upset when I travel, Mr. Franklin, and I'm promoting Barbados. I'm seeing small countries. I go to Cannes Film Festival. I see small countries that don't look half as pretty as Barbados with a booth at Cannes Film Festival and selling locations. I come back here and nobody's listening to me. The government paid money for me to go to Cannes, and I bring back the information and they do nothing, Mr. Franklin, with it. They do nothing.
But you know what they call promotion? Renting a truck and carrying chicken and rotis up there, and they think that is so innovative and people are excited by it and stuff. I don't understand it myself. Why would you one, carry fast food to the fast food capital of the world, and then you were saying to the people of Barbados, we are promoting healthy lifestyles. In the schools, you can't have sweet drinks. You gotta have um, certain juices and no sugar and that kind of stuff, and all this kind of bad food you don't want in Barbados. And then you go and tell Barbados, "Oh, come to Barbados and get so fat." You know that will kill you. They don't think, and see one policy from one department don't coincide with the policy in the next. It's like everybody, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Mm-hmm.
No, but
But
I thought that was really funny, you know, to see them promoting Shafet chicken and
but
all
you
these.
don't you think that there has to be some, that is a business, that was a business, a decision for to help a business owner in Barbados. That had nothing to do with tourism in my estimation. That was to
Not in mine
help,
either.
that had to
In mine
help a
either.
business owner in Barbados. Halut. That was a kickback at some, they're giving something back to Halut, not Barbados.
You know? And the thing is, Halut now, and the thing is, look, some years ago when they was comparing figures, Halut had 35 permanent staff. 35. Those days they had 600 workers. Only 35 were permanent. All the rest about 24 um, hours a week, as opposed to 40 hours a week. Only 35 people were permanent. And I heard the union, Barbados Workers Union, saying them praises. You know why? Because when they got functions, Shabbat is getting the food. You know. So they can't speak up against Shafat. It's an awful employer. And imagine you have young women, and in order for them to get extra money, somebody had to not turn up to work, and they get to, oh, hold on, why everything? Because they're scheduled for 24 hours a week. How could they?
Mm,
And
yeah.
see, if you work for 20, less than 20 hours a week, you after 13 weeks you can get 7 spare. So they make sure you get 24 instead of 40. And they've
Hmm.
been doing it for years, keeping people poor while they establish massive businesses, and their children get to drive both in the biggest cars and all kind of stuff. They live like royalty, but their staff
Hmm.
does not enjoy anything. See, so we promote the wrong thing. We promote people who exploit us. The government promotes people who exploit them, but you know, every so often you will see them come up with a big board check and hand it somebody and making them feel like they're doing something. But you know, many people got unfair for them to get that board check.
Mm. You know, Mr. I keep asking, what is the mirror image? What do we see? How do we see ourselves? How do we see ourselves? Just to think, I mean, somebody here is right, agreeing with you. You know how the same chefette, how they treat their workers and so on, and we will kill for chefette. That's a thing about it, you know. It's we something is wrong, and it has to be, it just has to be with how is our self-esteem. You know, we there's so much good. I'm in Barbados, and I see so much potential, so much within the people. But for some reason we don't value what's in the people. We don't value the people, the human resource. Do we realize how the quality of human resource that we have in Barbados? Yes, the education system is slipping, but we do have a foundation here, and I don't think that we value that enough, you know. And which is why we are looking overseas, all these gimmicks and all these things, and we're not looking at the people here, you know.
Um, the human resources are the most important part of Barbados, and if we could transform the use of it, we can transform Barbados. People need good quality jobs. They need to, we need to have persons for the youth that aspire to become like those people. We need innovative thinkers. We need people who can chart a path for the economy and for the country, and then we can turn this island completely around. That is what we must focus on.
You're talking about role models, but there's not a lot of them anymore. You
It's
know, I
true.
and prayer don't ask the youth to emulate or to aspire to the people we have set themselves up. I think because a lot of them are LGBTQ and all kind of stuff and that. So you really don't want our youth to be to go that way, you know, because we have allowed people from outside of Barbados to dictate how we live here, and we want the money, so we follow suit.
Hmm.
And we've destroyed everything that made us Barbadians. Then I hear them copying MSNBC slogan. This is who we are. No, that's MSNBC. It's not ours either.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the little this little big thing. They copy that. They copy
Little
everything.
Island. What was it again? Little Island, big. What was it? Anybody remember the slogan that they copied? This is what I'm talking about. How we see ourselves. Look how
Oh,
educated Barbadians are. Little Island, big. What's it called again? What kind of
I
is
can't
that little
remember now.
primary?
Little
A
Island.
little foolish thing.
Yeah,
Anybody remember little foolish? The little foolish slogan. Little
something.
Island, big. We can't remember it. Anybody remember it?
Can't
I
remember.
can't. I can't remember when we realized that there were other places that had the slogan. Oh
Yeah,
my
that was a
goodness.
joke.
Anybody remember it? Little Island, big. It's not Big Dream. Big. Ah.
It, I see. It wasn't really catching.
I can't. But and they paid all of this. But did you remember? This is the thing I'm wondering. The Bajans, don't let it be true that you have a short memory. What happened to the commission that the PM had put together, being led by the principal of the university, um, that was supposed to come up with a new slogan? You remember when the people were complaining? She put a commission together led by Sir Hilary Beckles. I remember that, and they were supposed to come up with something that's indigenous, some Barbados. Anybody heard anything, Caswell? You know what happened to that
it,
commission that
it,
they
it,
put
um,
together?
it went the way of the dodo bird.
Little Island,
it,
Big Barbados.
it went the way of the dodo bird. You know, like every time the prime minister always rushes in and forms something in order to take attention away from the nonsense that's happening. You remember when they were crying over the Constitution? She put a lady called Maria Williams to draft this new Constitution and thing, and before that Constitution, but before that commission had reported on the Constitution, she already had one Constitution done and passed in Parliament, and people were saying the Constitution because she just rushed and put something in place. Mind you, she the people allow her to use them with this foolishness because they couldn't get me involved in that kind of nonsense because it's just a gimmick to distract people away
Mm-hmm.
from their shortcomings. And Lord knows they have more shortcomings than they really need. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
or just I best pull up MSNBC. If you look there, you will see the thing says right
This
MSNBC.
is oh my God! This is who we are.
Yeah,
She got it
MSNBC.
from somewhere.
That's
She
what
got it from somewhere else. Oh my God!
they
MSNBC. Let me see if I can find it here.
they copy
Oh
everything.
goodness! And then come with a whole song, with a
Mm.
whole song.
You thought it was original. And you hear those little dodos in the Senate saying, "Oh,
Oh
this is who
wow,
the United
MSNBC.
States is."
This is who we are campaign.
Mm.
Oh Lord, they are just. I mean, they're making a mockery of this country, a complete mockery. Huh?
You
It's
see,
the same. This is the same thing that happened with that little island, Big Barbados. People start to pull it up online, and it's supposed to be our exclusive. This is our catchphrase, our logo, our thing, our brand. See, this is who
they,
we
they,
are,
they paid for it.
right? They paid for it.
You know,
They paid for it.
so one of their friends got some money for those accessibility.
No. Correct. Not a word has been heard of that committee. And when it was being formed, I remember, my husband was laughing. I said, Marcia, it's going to go the way of all the other committees. Nothing is going to happen of it. Yeah, nothing is going to happen of it. I don't know if Barbados aren't tired. And I'm not, I don't have an option for you. I'm just saying, just look at the situation, right? Now, this is who we are. And anybody saw Rihanna's I know it's not her husband, it's her children's father. What's his name again? ASAP Rocky. He came to Barbados and filmed and $750 for plagiarized words. He came to Barbados and filmed a music video, and I was so disgusted. I tell you, Mr. Franklin, and I wanted to call in. At the time, I was very busy dealing with some stuff with school, and I couldn't get a chance to call into the calling program. But I was so angry about it because it had the first video that he put out had a little boy. The little boy looked like about 9 with what looks like a champagne bottle. It could have been a non-alcoholic champagne bottle. I don't know. But symbols matter. I'm into film, right? Symbols matter. So once you do something like that, the child had the bottle, then the child had, they had a whole set of children that had these hoodies on, or their clothes, the way they were wearing the clothes. The symbol of that means it means and all of them running and running through the community. I grew up in ghetto. Okay, so I don't have no problem with ghetto people. I love ghetto people, and I'm proud that I grew up in a ghetto community. But do I want my children? I have 3 boy children. Would I want them to be running up and down in a ghetto community with a liquor bottle in their hand, right? And wearing the hoodies over their heads and all of that. I mean, a whole ton of them like a gang, pushing a gang culture. That's what it looked like to me. And then they put it out on TMZ and said he's filming in Barbados. What are we really saying? And then the little children sitting down counting out this whole lot of money that goes. We understand the symbolism of that because we watch the hip hop videos and we understand and then they put on these big old gold chains on the children. What's the message that we are sending out there? Because in film, all of your wardrobe, you pick out the wardrobe for a reason, because you're sending a message. It's non-verbal. Everything matters when you're doing film. The location matters. The all of the props. And so what can somebody tell me, what is the message that ASAP Rocky was sending in that video? I haven't seen the entire video. They sent out like I guess less than a minute of it, but it was telling. But we're so happy ASAP Rocky is filming in Barbados. ASAP, but what is he sending out there about us? you know that's just my little thing there. I don't know if anybody else saw it.
Well, I wouldn't have. I don't pay attention to that kind of crap anyhow, because we import um, too much foreign stuff that don't really help us. Like a couple of weeks ago, when we had the nurses from the union authorized the nurses to walk off at the Morrisburg Polyclinic. I came up by the corner and there's this um, supermarket right at the corner there. I was a bit thirsty, so I wanted to drink. And I got off there, and then while I got there, some people stopped me. We was talking. Another people always stopped me talking. So, and I don't fight them off. I talk with them. And a guy came up and he had these juices. And he asked anybody for natural juice. I said, excuse me, son, you really feel I will buy juice from you? You're walking about with your pants all on your backside. You have to look presentable, because then that would inspire me. Even if the juice ain't good, I would think so because you look good, but I ain't gonna buy that. You need to pull up your pants. He said, but it dropping down. I said, it got a belt, tighten the belt. You better get rid of that to me. And when the guys up with me, they said, Caswell, you just give me the best advice you ever had. But no, they don't want it because they want to look like the people in the prisons in the United States, because that was not a fashion, it was not a style. People in the prison are not allowed shoelaces or belts, because a shoelace could use to strangle somebody, or likewise a belt. So
Mm-hmm.
the if they take away your belt, the pants will drop down, and then all of a sudden it
Mm-hmm.
becomes bad, and people all about this person walking about without them not realizing that it's nothing wholesome. We copy everything. Mind you, the government copies it. The people just want to copy everything too. We are just a national copiers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have anything uniquely Belgian now for anybody that want to copy. We are the copiers, and it's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. Even I don't know if you know, Heather, there was a slogan. They did the We Gathering, right? And I can tell you this because I know a lot about this part of it. Listen, the We Gathering, and somebody knows it. Somebody put it on here. I can looking for the person who put it up. I don't know who it is. See if you find it for me, Heather.
I will.
Yeah, the We Gathering. I can tell you from a fact, Mr. Franklin, because I was trying to really help John King, right? Remember I told you I started off trying to help, but when once I did that thing in Eastern, I was done with them. Listen, the We Gathering, that concept came from Ghana, year of
Yeah,
return. They took it hook, line, and sinker. The We Gathering is Ghana. And as God would have it, it never happened because of COVID. Nobody gathered nowhere.
Yes.
It did not come from them. As Mr. Franklin said, Barbados, can you open your eyes and stop thinking about party? They won the election, but they don't know how to manage anything. They have copied almost everything that they have done comes from somewhere. The We Gathering is a Ghana concept that we brought here, and we shared. My husband and I went and shared with John King. John King called up the madam, share everything we share. I have so much to tell you about that. But go ahead. Let me let Mr. Franklin go, and I'm going to tell you all. I'm going to spill some beans on here tonight. Go ahead,
you
Mr.
remember this?
Franklin.
You remember this, Marcia?
The
Yes.
glowing coin.
That is going coin. This was produced for Be Gathering, and then when we gathered it, it come off. When we had the COVID things, to tell the people, look, we produce this here for you, and we give everybody. It was
But
so
what happened?
No, when the people who sacrificed during COVID, and they were giving them prizes and stuff, and they give them one of these coins and said,
Yes.
"Or we produced this for you." This was produced for Regathering as well. So while you mentioned Regathering, I reached out to get my 2 coins. Well, they kept two. They don't tell the truth about anything. That's the problem. No, this was not a
So wait,
slogan.
hold a minute. You're skipping too fast. You skip. Listen. It's pure. We're spilling up beats tonight. So you're telling me this is ridiculous that they had done those for the We Gathering, but because the We Gathering never happened, they said they made them specially for the people
For
who
these
work in
heroes,
COVID.
yeah, these heroes, and they give them this. this dog. I said, Lord, we got. I said, but today, why don't tell it? Just didn't want to tell the truth, you know. They dusted it off and we named it. That's what they did.
But listen, another one. We're spilling everything here tonight, right? Which we didn't want to do during the time. Well, I'm going to tell the story like this. There was a filmmaker. I want to tell the story like this, Mr. Franklin. I'm trying to tell it like you. There's a filmmaker that I know very well, and they produce a film, and in that film, listen carefully, Barbados. Listen carefully. The first time you're going to hear it. The first time you're hearing this. These filmmakers produce a film. And in the film, the storyline was that bones were being taken back to Ghana. Listen, Mr. Franklin. Bones were being taken back to Ghana. The script, these filmmakers sought funding because the culture said that they want to get involved and so on. This was before the we gathering because they didn't have that concept at the time. Anyway, so they said, oh, we want to get involved with this. Listen, we did not want to. Well, the filmmakers did not want to give them the script. Okay, but they were encouraged to do that, and certain persons in certain positions that lead this country, the script was sent to them. Listen to me, people. Try to remember. All that happened was that we heard, the filmmaker heard, I keep mixing it up. I'm mixing it up. The filmmaker heard that a trip was going to be made to Ghana, and that bones were going to be taken to Ghana.
Oh my God.
Okay? Not only that, Mr. Franklin, but the filmmakers were called. This is how stupid these people are. This is how stupid, and I'm using that word it's very accurate. You're going to say, oh, she took all cursing the people. The truth is that they were really dumb. They called those filmmakers to find out, how do you get the bones to Ghana? People from a particular ministry call those filmmakers. I tell you that. I'm telling you. To find out, how do you get bones to Ghana? Not realizing, Mr. Franklin, that it is a film. It is not literal. You hear what I'm telling you? I could call the names of the people right now. And I want one of them say something, and I'm going to call names. These idiots. Okay? The real people who took bones is a woman called Miss Minnie from Jamaica. And it took her years to take the bones of the people that they found in the civil plantation in Jamaica to Ghana. But they want to go to Ghana and create this big thing in Ghana to say that they're coming home because of the year of return. And so they wanted again, create lies. Announced to Barbadians that they were taking bones, did not know how to do it, and calling filmmakers to find out how to take the bones. The filmmaker had to say, but it's not real. Those things take years for you to do something like that. So you know what they did? Facts again, and let one of them come and tell me that I'm telling lies. Facts again. They went and they pick up some dirt. Mr. Franklin, dirt. They brought dirt and told the people in Ghana that it was the remains, it no remains in there. Facts, I am telling you. They went to the graveside and dig up some dirt and have the foolish Ghanaians crying about remains. Come back. No remains, because it could not have happened in that short time. They contacted the filmmaker, and the filmmaker was able to explain to them, it's not so it go, and then called Ghana for them. It did not happen, people. There are a set of tricksters, just that they trick Ghana. They tricked the people in Ghana, bawling, but they bring home thing, and they have remains. It's dirt. And I'm telling you, because I know the people that went and helped them to dig up the dirt. What I'm telling you is facts. You hear what I tell you? It's facts. And when the community, the Orisha community, and those that worship the ancestors were angry about it and said, how you going to dig up the ancestors? You remember that big quarrel that was in here with the ancestral worship people? Those that worship the ancestors were very angry about it. Very, very angry, because that's part of their religion and that's sacred to them. And they said, why you go and dig it up? And the commission comes out and say, oh, we just did a ceremonial thing. That's when he revealed to them, to that community, that it was a dirt, and he's a leader in that community that come and tell me, you know what the commission said, tell us, that is dirt. And they lied. They lied because it could not have happened. I can tell you the history of what happened in Jamaica. It took years for it to be done. It was done also in America. They took home the bones of 2 enslaved persons in America. Okay? And they wanted to go down in history as a third nation to do it, but it's a lie. It's a lie. And I called the pastor that I deal with. I said, let me tell you, everything up over there is a lie right now. No bone, not no there. It's not no remains. It's dirt that they took over there, lying. And they took the idea. They stole the idea from a film that was written in this country that was sent to them for funding. They stole the idea. And the filmmakers didn't want to say anything because they didn't want to ruin the whole thing with their film coming out. Facts. Let one of them come on here and tell me that I telling lie. Let them come and tell me that I telling lie. Okay? Let them come and tell me that I telling lie. Let me tell you, they are the biggest fake lie, the pure fake. The same thing that they do with the tourism and everything else is the same thing that they did. They duped the people of Ghana. They duped them. Anyway, I done. You heard it on the Marcia Reed show. You're muted. You're muted.
I said, everyone knew that these coins were about that story at the bottom ever since.
It is shocking indeed. I never knew. Shocking.
I always said nothing these people do surprise me. But this one did.
There are, I mean, when they called me, when they called the filmmaker to ask them about, just dumb. Oh, wow. These are the people that we have, so we know that the gathering was the year of return. We know here about the coins that were made for the year of return, that they say that they did it for the people who served in COVID. Another lie. We know about the whole story about these bones going there. We know where they got the origin of the story from. And we know very, very well that nothing was inside there but dirt from Barbados. There's so many lies. We know that the little we can't remember this foolish thing that they have there, the slogan, right? Little
The,
Island, Big
the,
Barbados was
uh,
stolen from somewhere else. We know that what is
this is
about
who we
this
are.
is who we are is MSNBC our logo. Oh my God. Jesus. This is crazy. This is crazy. We are better than this. We are better than this. We can do better. We can do.
We have allowed charlatans to take over, and that is our problem. People who come out and they sound pretty, and you know, you they talk pretty, and everybody think that there's substance. No substance at all.
Fluff.
Not just fluff.
Mm-hmm.
And but then we worship them. We almost elevate them to deities and worship them. And I was a member of the Barbados Labour Party, and I can tell you, that if you are a member of the Barbados Labour Party and you become the leader, all of a sudden you are loved by everybody. Unlike the Dems, the Dems won't let you become prime minister. They are Barbados Labour Party hold on to their leaders and big them up and make gods or goddesses out of them, and so they can do no wrong. And because they can do no wrong, nobody ever called them to account. Nobody, the party don't say to them, look, no, you're going wrong because
Hmm.
you are the leader, you're the maximum leader. I remember the story with the Barbados Party, the story about the Adams. They said that they were having candidate selection, and and after everybody spent the whole night picking candidates and got a list now, right? Adams said, well, I know you finished, but this is my list. And he took a list, jacket, pocket, and his list was the candidate. That is what the Barbados Party does. This is what this people do, because you have to remember every candidate they had some no contest with most of them. No contest, no contest. People were out there campaigning in the constituencies, and then the prime minister come and say, or not the prime minister, but the leader come and say, I want so and so, and that was it. So then you pick those people. You don't pick anybody that when they stand up to you. This is what we get. One brain among all of them, and not even a good
Hmm.
brain.
Hmm. Yeah. It's really, really, really sad, and that's why I keep asking the question, what mirror image do we have of ourselves? How do we see ourselves that we can't, why we have to keep copying? Why do we have to copy everything? Why can't we come up why can't we be ingenious and come up with our own stuff?
You,
And
you,
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 you
you keep
mhm.
asking for an image, but the mirror is broken. The mirror shattered. We are seeing that.
That is a question. Read this, Mr. Read this, Mr. Franklin. You see what I mean? Oh, sorry. I took it out by mistake. Man, I hope I find it back.
Yes,
There it
Yes.
is.
Right. How did they know? And somebody asking if it was cremated. No, it was dirt. It was dirt. When the person would tell, we were cracking up. We laughed till it was seriously, but we were laughing till we were crying.
no, but Peter is making a good point. But because I was saying that they were monkey bones, but now I find out what they were.
That is true.
I am telling you, we're laughing, but it's a serious thing. I mean, the situation, it might be funny, but the principle of it, though, is it's just that we are dealing with a lot of fraudsters. We're dealing with a lot of trickery. Where as what you call them, snake oil. What you call them,
Snake oil, snake oil
snake
salesman.
snake oil salesman, because that's how they won the election. The problem is that they are not managing the country. And while we're laughing about it, for me it's a serious thing. It is serious. It is, some of the things are funny, but it's not, when you, because we're dealing with our lives, so it's not really funny, when you think about it, because it causes you not to be able to trust anything. So you can imagine somebody like me, I'm going to check everything that they're doing, because you see what you understand the whole thing. And one of these nights, I tell you, Mr. Franklin, I'm going to tell you the whole story about Ghana, and and what they did with the then Minister of Culture. It's ridiculous, how they treated that man. Not that I'm not trying to say is that he's perfect, but just the way that he was treated. Another straw for me, that it does wickedness, just complete wickedness, right? Somebody said the return of the dirt was a witchcraft ritual to bury Barbados. I don't know. Big cabinet, small brains, and that's the thing. That's, you have such a big cabinet, and that's what they could come up with.
But there's only one brand in the cabinet. Only one brand that is when what the rest is just park and put down there, and they have to follow the leader. And the thing is, I remember well, Brandel had 17, a cabinet of 17, and the leader of opposition, Mayor Motley, then said Barbados has 5 more ministers than they need. And when she became prime minister, she had a cabinet of 26. Brandel should only have had 12 because of Barbados' need. And the thing is, the constitution only requires you to have, I think, 6. You know that the constitution of Barbados only requires you to have 6. A minimum
What
of
you're
6.
saying to me?
That the cabinet can comprise a
Wow.
bill of 6 people. So you don't need all of them. Because I'll tell them, when you have health, education, trade, foreign affairs, agriculture, attorney general, health will deal with the environment and anything associated. So you don't need Ministry of Health, and you don't need a Ministry of Health and then also one of the environment, because health, what you're dealing with. But now you have 2 different ministers. Education is about the youth, training the youth. But you have no, and it used to be education, youth, culture, and sport. Now you got a Minister of Culture, education, and you got a Minister of Sport. You see, because each of these ministries don't have enough to occupy a minister for full time, But then you have also transport and works. So you didn't need then another one somewhere else calling the drainage and all kinds of stuff, because it works with drainage. But people have to find work for their friends. So they break up these ministries as fun as they can get them. And then give people nothing to do. Because look, ministers are supposed to deal with policy. You don't need, and then the permanent secretaries will deal with the implementation of those policies. So you don't need all these sets of policy makers. I don't make the policy, because the policy is like it comes off the cuff. It isn't planned. And if you look at when they were in Parliament, every time they got a Parliament come with something new, then they have to come back and fix it because they didn't think it out properly. It is just awful. We walk about the place like blithering idiots, and call it governance. and then we call them honorable this and honorable that, and they're just almost brain dead. But this is who we are.
Yeah, yeah. And see, someone is saying that the person was running our tourism. Well, she was in New York. She did so well in the UK, and these are people that I would be working with, with in the filming with our films. And this is Petra Roach, and I don't know what could have anybody to lose Petra Roach. To me, that is ridiculous. Everybody was talking about Petra Roach. I don't know how they lost. How could they lose Petra Roach?
I don't think it was lost. I think they gave away. You know, but mind you, I said that when we let that Roach go to Grenada, it was compensation for them giving them Rudy Grant. You know, because he
Given
was the
what?
first. It was compensation for them for Barbados giving them Rudy Grant. You know, he
Oh,
tends to know something about tourism, and he went on there and didn't do anything really. He don't know what he's doing. So I think that was payback. You know, after all, he was the first director of tourism or whatever it was that they got on there, and he went on there and made a mess of things. And all he can tell you his legacy is that he was the first. First thing, do now is
mm-hmm.
that the first is that the fella come out to open batting and make not. You still open batting though, you know what I mean? So Patrick was public compensation for getting a Rudy Grant. She
Oh
bet not
God.
and had Grenada tourism booming. Those ideas that she had down
Mm-hmm.
there, she could have implemented here. But you know, we got too many small minds and little people who call themselves ministers who think that you
Mm-hmm.
know who think they know everything. That you could be an engineer and they make you minister of health. Immediately you become all knowing in health and you want to tell the doctor to operate.
Mm-hmm.
You know nothing about education and they make a minister of education, but then you want to tell teachers how to teach and how they should do it. Well, thankfully now she's deputy prime minister. But
Hmm.
you know,
Well,
you,
listen. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you know, and but no knowledge, no ability in the area, no track record in the ministry that you put them in. And then all of a sudden they want to go into the ministry and tell the professionals who are trained in the area how
Mm-hmm.
to do it. You know, you have a situation where town planning now, the chief town planner, what they call him these days, um, is not the person who is the technocrat in that department anymore. It is some committee. You know what they said about a committee. I always remember this. They said an elephant, a mouse is an elephant made a committee specification. And they were making a mouse, but everybody wanted on their feet. So, so the committee, you know, so that's what you give all these damn committees.
Well, Caswell, it's a minute to 10. And we always, we want to close off, want to let people know that we're going to be on again on Friday because we have our planning meeting. The planning meeting is going to be Thursday, August 24th, 11 a.m. at Unity Workers Union, number 5, 6th Avenue. All right. So those of you who are, repeat,
Text I mean Belleville.
6th Avenue, Belleville. Okay, number 5, 6th Avenue, Belleville. Right? 6th Avenue, Belleville. Write it down, please. And guys, try to come out. Come out. Let me try to see if I can correct that real quickly. Right? So you come out to the meeting. Please don't leave us down there by ourselves. All right. So come out to the meeting and let us plan the next March. All right, because listen, we are not these are incompetent people here that we're talking about here tonight. You know, they're the ones that sit down. That's why they can't negotiate anything with the about with the IMF. How are they going to? They don't have that's why all the other leaders were able to tell the IMF what we're doing. These here can't do it because there is nothing. They're empty. They don't have anything. It's just a big shell, right? Big shell. So we're going out again, but we want your input. And so come on down this Thursday at 11 a.m. Is there anything you wanted to say, Heather? Thank you for this discussion on tourism. Quite interesting.
Well, it went on for quite a while, so I'm happy. And thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I'll be hopefully back. I'm not sure about next week, but probably the week after.
The week after.
Yes, and how things turn out. Yes.
Wonderful. So we're gonna yes. Go ahead, Kazwa.
If anyone has a supply of this card Bristol board type thing that we can paint and draw signs on, plot slogans on, feel free to bring it. I don't think we will have too much. So if they have it, we'll be grateful for a donation, and we are saying donation.
A Bristol board. So we need, when you're coming to the meeting, bring as much Bristol board that you could bring to the meeting so that we can get the placards done. So they're sturdy, and once you build them and they're sturdy, they will last longer. So we don't have to be doing them every week, right? That's the idea. So
I would just put them on top of the plain. I have some placards already made. I just have to stick the slogans on top of it.
Yes. And remember, guys, this is what we're doing. We're targeting the president because everything has to go to her, and we want her to hear and to know that we're not happy. We're not happy. We would love for that to happen. And so we will continue. We're not stopping. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Caswell. Yes.
One more thing. Don't forget the petition, please. If you have not signed it already, sign it and share it. Let's keep it moving.
Let's keep the petition moving. The petition, every time you sign, it goes to the Prime Minister, it goes to the President. All those emails are attached. So we need you to keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Heather, for spearheading that and doing such a great job. Thank you, Mr. Caswell. This is the Caswell Franklin Show. Thank you. Or we need to name it Ask Caswell.
I am honored to come on your show. It is not a Caswell Franklin show. I wouldn't want, I told you, someone wanted to do a show for me. I rejected that because that was not the place where I want to go and the person I want to be associated with. But the Lord directed me to you or you to me, whatever, but we ended up together. And I'm happy.
Yes, it just happened. Yeah. God bless you. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you on Friday. Don't look for me tomorrow. See you on Friday. Okay? Friday. God bless you. Bye-bye.
God bless you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good night.